Hey, what's going on, YouTube? It's the brain of the mainframe here, Nile, Scala, PopXP, and the man, the myth, the legend, Billy Tucci is with me. Sir, how you doing tonight?
You know, I'm doing pretty good. I had a little bit of Chinese food for dinner. How about you, Nile? How you doing?
Pretty good, because you know what? I had a little bit of Chinese food for dinner.
What kind of Chinese food you have?
I enjoy the Mushu chicken.
Ooh, what did I have? I told you what I had already. What did Debbie say I had? I had something.
She said you had green beans, McNuggets, because you don't eat the Chinese food.
Something healthy. No,
some white rice.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Boy, well, we had a good time last night, huh? We survived our very first ladies' night.
Dude, that was off the hook.
That was great.
I liked that. That was fun.
That was a lot of fun. We had my wife Deborah on. We had Francisca Polito. We had Amanda Connor.
I felt like I belonged.
What?
I felt like I belonged.
I know. We had Crystal Van Diver on. We had Jennifer Van Damsel. And we had Joni Brocious on. That was a great show. And we're going to do another one. I think our next one next month is going to be Ladies' Night, how I lost my girlfriend to comics. Boyfriend. How comics stole my girlfriend.
How comics stole my boyfriend.
Well, no, but I think but they're all in comics. So I think it's best to say how comics stole my girlfriend.
See, you switched that.
Anyway, well, what do I see out there, Scala?
I don't know.
I think I might see
glittery.
I'm
glittery
looking at it
flickering,
woods, and I see some. I might.
Wait, let's call it.
Do I a fairy queen?
I think so. Is it coming? Oh!
It is a fairy queen. Hello, fairy queen.
Hello, fairy queen.
Hello, fairy queen. And do I spy 6 hippies behind you?
Why, there is one hippie.
Ah!
This is Fuzzy Hippie.
Who else do we have? What other hippies do we have?
We've got Sketchy Hippie. Draws. We've got Saving the Duck Stick Hippie.
We got fat hippie.
No, come on.
I see how you are now. I see how you are. You ruined it.
We've got another. A British guy.
Oh, British hippie. Oh, behave.
A muscly hippie.
No, that's a zip it hippie.
A zippin' hippie.
Zip it hippie.
And then a Hardin hippie.
A Hardin hippie. What's up, everybody? So. It was good when we first started because we had Carrie Ann Hunt, our fairy queen, was in the Alice box, and now she's up in the Mike Brady box, right? Is that where she is? Is she in the Mike Brady box? Oh no, she's in the Greg Brady box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
Paul Jenkins is in the Cindy Brady box, the youngest one in curls. How are you guys doing? I'm glad you guys joined us for San Diego Comic-Con week. We're going to talk about Comic-Cons past, but talk about memories. We've had some fun. Beau and I almost killed each other last year. Got thrown out of the Marriott. That was a fun one. Beau, can you hear me? Beau, can you hear me? Do we have Beau's? Why can't Beau hear us? You can't hear us?
Everybody's breaking up.
Plug your thing in better.
I can hear bits and pieces.
Bits and pieces.
It is. I already redid it.
All right, try it without it. Unplug it.
Everybody. I mean, the more people that came on, everybody started breaking up after that.
What if you unplug it?
Have you turned it off and turned it back on again?
Harsh. Yeah, I unplugged the thing. It's still doing it.
I think he's a boomer hippie. What do you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
All right, Beau.
Why don't you get through with some introductions while Beau gets his audio figured out?
All right. Well, you know what? Why don't we give the honors of the introduction to
Dr. What if Beau tries? Do you have an iPhone, Beau, that you could log in, mute your computer, and log in with your iPhone to see if it's better?
Look at that. Look at that. The guy in the middle knows.
There you go. The guy in the middle knows. Oh,
the guy in the middle knows everything.
He's tech savvy. He's super tech savvy.
He's a PopXP customer technical support.
He's on X game mode.
Graham, can you hear okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Paul, you hearing everything good?
I hear just fine. Thanks very much.
Chad,
your mic's off. You muted yourselves.
Oh, can't hear Chad.
He's still talking about you now.
I
Can
know.
you hear me now?
You guys hear me?
I
Yeah.
can hear you just fine.
Yeah.
Nile.
Okay. Sorry about that.
That's all right. This is like them Zoom when you Zoom in your family when the pandemic first started, and you're like,
You need me to
That's not working.
check out?
Hello.
It
Is that
says on
you?
my phone I'm backstage now.
oh, okay, there you
Whoa.
go.
What?
Hang on, Beau. Hang on. Get rid of old Beau, and we'll bring in new Beau.
That was trippy for a second. That was like a teleporter accident.
You
Oh,
right?
now he's gone, and now he's back. Oh my
There
god.
you go, Beau. Can you put it
So that's
sideways?
the phone.
How's
That's
that?
the phone, right? From Bo?
Yeah, that's Bo's phone.
Can you hear everybody, Bo, now?
Beau, turn your
No,
computer
everybody's
off.
still.
But
I'm
can you?
crying.
Here, that's right. Well,
I haven't had very much sleep, so I'll be extra fun.
Paul's like, what is
Okay.
going on? Cringe.
Could you pants
think-
mom everything for the rest of the evening? You know,
What?
like,
I dressed up for this.
Look at
I
Paul.
think it's coming in. Yeah. I would just like to be first to say how great the beginning of the show has been.
I know.
Yeah. I think it's working now.
It only got better because
All
you're
right.
here, Paul.
I just
What made it all worthwhile?
it's been a long time since I've chatted with my buddy Beau Smith, and you know what? Nothing has changed.
Well,
You know,
I'm still the same chimpanzee I've always been.
Yeah. All of you have a lot going on. So what I'd like to do, if we could take a minute, and starting with you, Carrie Ann, would you mind telling everybody about yourself? And then we'll move down to Paul, and we'll go like a zigzag.
oh sure. Yeah, I'm hearing an echo now, actually. But I'm Carrie Ann. Hunt is my last name. I'm an actress and a producer and a filmmaker. I have Fairy Path Productions as my company. Spelled like it's spelled down here. If anybody wants to hunt around for it. Haha, that's my last name. Yeah, I'm an actress and a filmmaker and a producer, and I work with Paul at Meta also. So yeah.
Hooray.
And I met people.
And who's that fair gentleman on the lower right hand, left hand side of the screen with the meta hat on?
Hi, everybody. Yes, so this is me. I got my cat Claudius with me. He's joining in tonight, as he normally does. Let's see. It's the week of San Diego, so everybody's a little bit bummed out because it would be nice if we could all be at San Diego and see our friends and hang out. But this is just as good. Get to have a beer with you guys. In fact, I thought tonight instead of doing cinnamon whiskey, I thought I might do peppermint schnapps.
Peppermint schnapps.
Just to see what happens. Now, at the moment, Carrie Ann and I are working on the Kickstarter for Fairy Quest. So at some point tonight, I'll show everybody what's going on with Fairy Quest. And let's see what else. I'm working on about 4 projects at the same time. But I'm doing some cool stuff. So there you go. That's why my eyes look like that. I never sleep. And there you go. Who else? Who's next?
Paul, I brought Rune to say hello to you, but I had to bring him up in the box.
Look at him. This cat is he's the cats of Instagram. Look at the state of that cat.
Yeah, look at that cat.
Very,
Very regal. Very regal.
Oh, he's got his box. He's in his box. There he is.
Box.
He's in his box and he's getting your hair. Look.
He's like, what? Wait, there he goes. He's about to jump ship. We'll get him later. He's very confused as to why I picked him up in a box. I'm
That's
sorry,
a big
but
cat.
he is a giant cat. He is a giant cat, and I'm a tiny person. So he's like,
Dr. B with the PhD, talk to us. Say the duck stick.
Yeah. My name's Brian, and it's been exactly 4 years and 6 months since I listened to Vanilla Ice to the Extreme on cassette tape. And, I'm hoping to continue that for the longest time. I have definitely won the lottery by becoming friends with Billy and Nile Scala. And I hope one day to be as cool as the duck stick.
So I don't know, man. That's gonna be kind of tough.
I mean, look, a boy can dream. A boy can dream.
And then we have our friend here, the one, the only, Mr. Sergio Calliero. Sergio, tell a little bit about yourself.
All right. I was born in Brazil, and I came to the Cuba school back in the day, late 80s, early 90s. Then broke into working for Marvel, DC Comics. Worked with Chuck and Beau on a few gigs. Batman, Wildcat, Batman, Catwoman miniseries. Did Azrael for DC, Deathstroke, and the Lone Ranger for Dynamite, and the Action Bible.
Yeah.
Book published.
I mean, I think the Action Bible, which is amazing, I think that's got to be the biggest selling comic book of the 21st century. Like by far, wouldn't you say so? I mean, you've sold millions of those, haven't you?
We are close to 2 million. So
wow.
Yeah. So this September we are doing the anniversary edition. So I've been working really hard to add 128 pages to the 751.
Whoa!
Wow.
And when I was doing the Action Bible back then in 2006, 7, 8, I was working on the Lone Ranger for Dynamite and working for Zondervan doing cartoonish Son of Samson. So I was quite busy. But the Action Bible has been really the most successful book I've worked with for sure.
Beautiful, beautiful. And now all the way to the bottom screen in the Cindy Brady box is the one, the only Mr. Graham Nolan. What's happening, buddy?
Hey there, buddy. What's going on?
Nothing much.
Yeah.
Tell a little bit about yourself. You're another one that doesn't really need much of an introduction, but for those living under a rock for the past, 25 years.
Well, I'm a writer, artist, publisher. Work for Marvel, DC Comics, long run on Batman, co-creator of Bane with our buddy Chuck Dixon, who couldn't be with us here today. And then also the creator of the Shanu, which is my crowdfunding project, which is going on right now.
Yeah, we're going to get into that, and you should be real proud of yourself with that. I mean, you're just tearing it up.
Thanks, brother.
And I'd like to get into that and start talking because we got a couple of us here that have crowdfunding campaigns going on or soon to be launched crowdfunding campaigns. And I'd like to talk to you guys about that, especially since all of you have been very successful in the mainstream, hugely successful, superstars in the mainstream. And I'd like to talk about the comparisons between the two. But before we get that, we got two more manly men coming up here. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Donny Osmond State is the one, the only Mr. Chad Hardin. What's happening, Chad?
Hey-o.
What's up, brother?
I grew up in Vegas, so I'm not claiming Utah, bro.
Oh, yeah. Why, it's not cool in Utah?
I don't know. I don't know how I landed in Utah, but I'm here. So
Do you ever see like, well, here's a funny story. Well, here's my Utah story, if I may.
by all means.
I was at the licensing show and I met Marie Osmond. Like their booth, she was selling her dolls like next to our Crusade booth. And we were just talking, and man, she's beautiful.
Was she nice?
She was a sweetheart. Little,
good. All right.
Beautiful. Well, this is 97. So, we were all young. I mean, she looks gorgeous today, but do you ever see Marie Osmond walking around town? Do you ever?
No.
Hey, guys.
No,
I don't know if any of you all can hear me.
Each other.
I cannot hear a thing.
No.
It sounds like static from everybody. I can't hear anything.
Oh, it's in a different dimension. It's not his fault.
He's in the he's in the land of the goblin. He's in the goblin world.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear that, Beau? You're in goblin world?
Better run.
Well, I'd like to take this opportunity to tell you that you are one of the ugliest gits I've ever met. And frankly, being around you has been a drain for the entirety of my career. most people talk about you behind your back, but the fact is that I've learned to tolerate you. So
TJ's comment, Beau is in West Virginia, same difference. That's funny.
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
poor old
Can you
boy,
hear
look
us
at
at all?
The hills are alive.
Sergio, why do you think he's having a problem with Beau?
I bet his Wi-Fi stinks.
Yeah, it's got to be his technology. Somehow, I would get rid of the earbuds and try different Apple devices.
Yeah, it could be. It could definitely be.
Take him out, Beau.
If we all just do this, maybe he'll get it.
Yeah, everyone
yeah,
go.
Beau.
If we all believe. If we all believe.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Can he phone in?
I'm too structured for this, Billy. I'm too structured.
It's okay now.
Let's get into some questions, please.
It's gonna
Can
be
you
hard.
Everyone, tell us the
Can-
craziest
can
thing
Beau-
you've ever done. No.
Would Paul be able to see the chat? Maybe.
Well, he popped out. I think he's going into another room. Hopefully.
Somebody text Beau.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
check.
yeah.
I don't know why I have to talk about him in that voice. But I don't even know him. He's gonna be like, "Who is that girl?"
She's like, why is he talking to me on a first name basis?
Talking to me like a West Virginia.
Beau, get close to your modem and turn back on.
Excuse me,
It's
Beau.
right there.
Thing.
Take the. Oh, that was from Paul. Okay.
And this is not alcohol. This is an energy drink. So we'll see how
And
that goes.
when you do log on, do not use your earbuds.
Do not. I
Just
repeat.
put
Do
your phone
not.
on speaker.
Tell him to get the chopper.
So, Chad, what was your most memorable
He's already
moment at San Diego Comic-Con?
Oh man.
Nile taking the bull by the horns.
You know, okay.
I can't
I've
say
been-
any longer.
I've been to Comic-Con back when Stan Lee was at a table and Jim Lee were at a table, and nobody was like bugging him for signatures. That's how long ago I've been. So it's turned into a madhouse lately. Gosh, where to start? Lots of crazy stories from Comic-Con. Got to meet J.J. Abrams. That was
nice.
pretty cool.
Where'd you meet him?
He was walking Artist Alley.
Wow.
Okay, so Artist Alley, I've met Gabriel Iglesias, Patton Oswalt,
Oh, nice.
J.J. Abrams. They just walk around.
That's Fluffy, right? I worked with him.
Yeah, Fluffy, yeah.
I was this is such a weird thing for me to be a part of, but I was in Magic Mike XXL and his trailer was right next to mine. And we were and he was fun. He was a nice person.
He seems like a fun person.
He is a fun person. He's super fun. He's really sweet.
I see Bull.
He's back. He's back.
It's funny, like
Yeah,
all those
sitting right-
people. Oh,
Can
I'm
you hear us
right
now,
beside the modem, everything you said, but everybody's still
You're good.
static.
I love how Beau derails it as soon as he shows
Have you tried a coat hanger on top of your computer?
Some tinfoil. You got some tinfoil, Beau?
That man, I remember that when I was a kid.
Beau, I miss you, brother, and it's great. It's like you're back and you're already making me laugh. I can't see your face right now because you keep cracking me up.
You know, I'm gonna tell you a story about Bo when we worked together on
Yeah,
we worked
absolutely.
together on a Western, and he left a message on my machine.
And we need to make
And I could not understand him because he said, "You go and rent high plan drifter," and I just heard
Guys, I don't think this is going to work for me. I hear more than I have here. So I'm going to sign off. Another.
All right, thanks for ruining
All right,
everything.
bye.
Oh, sad.
It was good.
Oh, he's
It was
gonna
good
be
not
sad.
hearing you guys.
Thanks a lot, Paul. Jeez.
All right.
All right, Bo.
Talk to you guys
Love you,
later.
man.
Love you, Beau.
All right.
I hear him from like a void where he's frozen in time.
He's in the
Yep.
he's in the goblin world. He's
He
been
is.
captured by the
Bye,
goblin.
Bo. Thank you.
Where does he live?
West Virginia.
Okay, near the mountains or something.
Take me home.
Yeah, not really, not really the mountains. He's on like the Ohio border.
Oh, that's what it is. It's that border. That
I think it's the border. I think they just can't figure out where they're, what part they're, what part the internet, what states running the internet.
Save. Is that what I thought that said save Beau. Like we needed to go rescue him because he was crying for help.
No,
he needs better technology.
All right, again, Sergio, we're sorry. Again, brother.
Maybe
Yeah,
don't
go ahead.
back in the comments.
Chad was interrupted. Chad.
Oh, Chad. Sorry, Chad. Yeah.
I think the biggest geek out I've ever had at Comic-Con though is when Todd McFarlane came to my table. So it I guess it just depends on who your idols are,
That's a fact.
Wait, who did you say?
Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, it's not ringing a bell for me either.
No, yeah.
Wait, does he make comics?
The Todd father,
Is he a cosplayer?
He's that baseball collector. He collected home run balls.
Yeah, he bought what was it? Mark McGuire's 60th home.
Now I have a story about this. I have a story about his baseballs. He bought Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa's baseballs, and at the time, I was working with him on Spawn the Undead, and Bendis was working on Sam and Twitch, and he decides to have this editorial conference, and I'm like, whatever. And so I go because I frankly not that interested in that shit, and so we go there, and apparently he wanted everybody to go watch his kid play softball. And I didn't go because I'm not going to your fucking kid's softball game. I'm sorry, right? And so he paraded up and down in front of the bleachers like a general and kept going like. So then he goes, "Where's Jenkins?" And someone said, "Oh, he's at the bar having a drink." And they went, "Okay, right, whatever." And so he gives me these two baseballs. I'm like, "What's a British guy going to do with two baseballs?" So I started juggling with them, and then I put them down my pants. And he thought it was funny, which was good because otherwise I would have been dead.
He almost went pro though, right? Didn't Todd had to make a decision between comics and going pro with baseball?
Yeah, that was me and Graham too. Same story. Me and Graham had the same dilemma, but we said, "No, let's do comics. Let's not be professional baseball players."
I just know he's really into it.
No, he is. He's a big baseball. He's a baseball nut. Because I asked him about hockey, and he's not really a big hockey fan. He's more of a baseball fan, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, especially isn't he Canadian?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why he lives in America because they threw him out of Canada. They found out he didn't like hockey.
You don't like hockey? You're out of here.
Oh, you got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's like, all right, eh?
No Tim Horton for you.
Yeah, no Tim Hortons, eh?
I love Tim Hortons.
So, Chad, you've been going a long time. I think you posted that this is something like the first San Diego you've missed in decades.
Yeah, I think I've been going since '92, maybe even '91, and then I served a Mormon mission for 2 years, so I missed those two.
That's cool.
And then came back.
Where did you go?
I went to North Carolina.
Oh. You didn't
to go. Speaking of North Carolina, it was pretty interesting. I'd walk into a Spanish neighborhood. They would scream "La Migra" and scatter, and I don't think I baptized anyone. So anyway.
Oh, they knew the Mormons were coming. That freaked them out.
I guess two white guys with name badges. It was a bad deal. So
with Dockers on and polo shirts.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think we might have back then. I think we had to wear suits. I think we might have been like full suited up.
Did you ride bicycles too? I feel like there's a bicycle aspect to this.
Yes, we called those the Mormon assault vehicles. Yeah.
Assault vehicles. They let them drive cars now.
Oh, good.
Well, and we had cars, but yeah, whatever. We had bikes too. You get to share a car between like 10 companionships.
Oh,
so it's like 20 missionaries.
Now, Sergio, how about you? How many San Diegos have you gone to? When did you start going, bud?
Man,
I don't know.
Maybe 15. I don't remember, but there was. I remember that we had to talk to Clyde Dean. Had to know Clyde Dean.
Clyde Dean.
Yeah.
Clyde Dean.
Clydeen Knee.
Clydeen Knee. Oh,
Clydeen Knee.
Clydeen Knee. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember the first time I took two buses to get there, and I stayed in a friend of a friend house or apartment, and back then it was 8-foot table.
Yeah.
We had an 8-footer. Man. It was great. A lot more room. 12 years ago, 13 years ago, something.
Oh
like
yeah, it was way different. I remember like 12, even 10 years ago, or 9, yeah, maybe 10 years ago, we had these World War II veterans coming from the Japanese American 442nd Regimental Combat Team, and one of them was a Medal of Honor recipient. And I remember just going to the to the front desk, the exhibitors desk, and said, "I got these World War II veterans. I need some badges." And like, "Oh yeah, okay, here you go." Now forget it. No way. Now you got to like give them your firstborn to get a badge, but in like November of the year before.
Unless you're an Eisner winner, then you can get as many as you want.
Unless you what?
Unless you're an Eisner winner,
Or an ink pot.
Yeah.
then you can get as many as you want.
Well, most of them have the only badges that count, though. You know what I'm saying?
No. What does that mean?
No. No.
My head.
I don't know what I'm saying.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about, brother?
Apparently, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Graham Nolan,
I guess
Yes,
I got
sir.
lost in the situation.
tell us about your most splendor.
It's like therapy.
It is like therapy, isn't it?
Tell us about your Comic-Con experience.
Tell us about your Comic-Con experience.
Yeah. Graham.
I haven't gone to too many of them because I can't stand them. They're just too many people. It's just a sensory overload. I think I've been to make 4 or 5 of them. But I had some really cool experiences at them. One was I was sitting at the DC booth signing stuff at the height of nightfall, and I had a line just wrapped around, the entire area there. And somebody said that Jack Kirby just sat down at his table.
Oh.
So I threw my pen up and I said, "Sorry, folks, I'll be back in a minute." And I ran down to where he was. And I'm going down the aisle this way, and he's sitting there like this as a T-bone. And he's right up against the wall, and I can see him. And he's sitting there all by himself. And I'm afraid I'm going to get down there and he's going to be swamped. So I'm running. And I run out there. I stick my hand out to him like a maniac. And I said, "Jack Kirby, oh my God." Drool on him. And, just told him I didn't introduce myself, or I just said, "Thank you for inspiring me. You're a legend, everything you've done. And, it's so appreciated," that kind of stuff. And then went back to my table. And he died the next year.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were there in '93, because I remember when she came, we had solicited she in, I think, December, and it was for a March release, or January, for March 1994 release. And I remember, just getting so excited. I'm like, oh my God, so I'm going to go to Comic-Con now? Because I went in '93, I was online looking for work. I didn't see him there, but I'm like, but next year I'm going to have a comic book, and I'll be able to meet Stan and Jack and all them. And Jack died. He died on, I think he died on Valentine's Day, 1994.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
Yeah. And the other time was they brought out Jim Aparo for I'm not sure if they were giving out the Shazam Award or it was an ink pot for him or something like that. And Jim never did conventions and stuff, and he was really out of his depth, so he just wanted to hang out with the guys. So me and Chuck and a couple other guys took him into the hotel bar, and we just started drinking. And he was having a ball. He never went in to receive his award. So we're sitting out in the bar drinking, and out comes Archie Goodwin, and he's holding this really nice statuette, and he's like, "Oh, Jim, hey, here's your Eisner or your ink pot or whatever it was." And Jim is saying, "Oh, well, thank you very much, Archie. It's very nice." He puts it down and he continues on with us. It was just like he was such a regular guy, and it was just so cool to hang with, the great Jim Aparo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, the third good story I have from that is meeting my other hero was John Romita. And I was signing at a booth, and I had a lot of people there. And Ramita sat down at his table, and Chuck came over to me and said, "Hey, Ramita just sat down." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I did the same thing I did with Kirby. I excused myself, and I went over, and I got in his line. And I finally get up there, and the guy in front of me wasn't quite right, and he was monopolizing them. He just, I'd gotten through everybody, but the one in front of me just would not leave.
Someone not right at Comic-Con say it ain't so.
Yeah, right. I'm not saying I'm right, but I'm righter than this guy. So finally he gets going, and then I introduced myself to John, and he looked up and he said, "Are you Graham Nolan, the artist?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, I loved your Batman Spider-Man book." And I'm like, "Fuck, I can retire." That's it. The first artist that I really admired, knew who I was. So, I got to come around behind the table. I sat down with him, got a picture with him and stuff. He signed some stuff, and we talked a little bit. And that was just awesome to meet the first artist that I recognized as a kid, growing up. I could spot a Ramita thing a mile away, and that was really cool.
Now, everybody, Beau's watching the show, and he said he's really sorry. It's just he's having major internet problems. But thank you, Beau. We love you, bud.
We miss you, Beau.
Keep watching, because we're going to talk some serious shit about you.
Yeah.
But so, Graham, you were set up. Now, Graham, you and Paul too. You guys were Paul a little bit later. But Graham, when you were doing Batman, that was at the real peak of the speculator. You're talking, right, 1992, 93, when it was just insane.
Yeah.
What was it like? Now, here's the thing for those of you who may not know. The San Diego Comic-Con right now is halls A through H, and then all the rooms upstairs. And there's giant meeting rooms, giant panel rooms. The entire convention center is taken over. And there's 125,000 people. That's attendees, and then we probably another 20,000, 30,000 exhibitors and guests, and artists and all. But Graham, when you were there at the height of San Diego Comic-Con, it was only in halls A and B, and didn't seem gigantic. But now, if you look at it, right, Chad, you go and it's like,
yeah,
the whole con was just in this little area.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was busy back then. It was the biggest. It was still the biggest con that there was around.
Yeah.
So in perspective, yeah, it seemed like, wow, this is the big one. But when I went back in 2016, when they brought Chuck and I and Kelly out for the Inkpot Awards, I was just completely overwhelmed. I mean, it was just an entirely different animal. It's like the thing had doubled from being a huge show to this just unmanageable beast. I mean, it's like I don't know, maybe because I'm an old goat now, it just seemed like a sensory overload. It's like I didn't see anything new. It's just more, and it was like I kept going out the back door to where the water was, because that's like my peaceful place, and just hanging out by the boats.
It became more Hollywood, right? It became more creepy.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, yeah, very much so, Sergio.
And once the movie started kicking off.
Yeah, I almost got trampled at the Warner Brothers booth when they announced the Game of Thrones people. And I'm 6'1". I'm a big guy, but all of a sudden they announced like Game of Thrones signing at the Warner Brothers booth, and I thought for sure I was going to get killed. I mean, there was that many people rushing that stage. It's a little crazy. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a whole pop culture con now. It's not like a Comic-Con.
Yeah. Last year, it got scary because I remember 2017, Debbie took a photo. Now, my booth is when you walk, the halls are divided, hall A, hall B, hall C, or, et cetera, et cetera. Our booth is front and center of the doors of hall B2 and C1, the entranceways. And right behind us is DC. And the DC booth is there. And I remember my wife took a picture. This is probably in 2018. Yes, 2018 at 5 o'clock on Sunday. I'm sorry, 5 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. right in front of the DC booth, right outside of our booth, and it was empty because the convention is now so spread out that it's in the Marriott Hotel and the entire, every room, and they built that whole other wing onto the Marriott and the Hyatt Hotel too, just because of Comic-Con, because they built these giant ballrooms and stuff like that. Then it's at Petco Park, and it's all the big hotels have it, and it got really scary because in the beginning it opens up and the Justice League came out and everyone's taking pictures, and then when they left, everyone left. It was really weird, and being as an exhibitor, that I'm an exhibitor, so I'm in all honesty, I'm about $7,000 to $8,000 out of pocket before we even step into that hall. Mm-hmm. And you've got to hustle and make that money. You've got to do. I've never done so many sketches in my life. I've never done. It's our biggest show, selling wise, of course. But there's so much pressure, and it was all because of the movies. And then last year, I think it was Marvel didn't have a booth. And
they do their Disney thing now, so they don't even go. They're not interested.
Well, and DC didn't have a booth. It was Warner Brothers.
Yeah. And DC didn't have the booth, but it was a Warner Brothers booth. But the Warner Brothers booth was down. It was down farther into the hall. But it for the first time in probably 5-6 years, it felt like a Comic-Con again because a lot of more comic people were there, and it was great. And it was super busy for us. It was our best Comic-Con in 20 years.
Bill, I gotta tell you, man, like I live in Atlanta, and we do the Dragon Con, which is not known for being a very good comic show, right? It's a great comic show. Like you make a ton of money.
Yeah.
You have the most fun, right?
Yeah.
San Diego, on the other hand, I was standing there about, I used to go every year, right? And now I'm like, I go to see you. I go to see my mates, right? I don't go for anything else because there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, I was standing with a friend of mine. I was standing with Dave McKean, right? Dave McKean, I used to be his editor years ago. And I said to him, Dave, let me point something out to you. Do you know how long 3 minutes is? Ask a boxer, right? It's a long time. So for 3 minutes, we're going to stand in this hallway, and I want you to find me someone who's smiling. And we couldn't. In 3 minutes, we walked around, couldn't see a single person smiling. Everybody was miserable. Yeah. I walked out the back. I asked a couple of people, hey, why are you sitting in this line? They said, well, we're trying to get into the main hall so we can see the pick one, Breaking Bad panel or something. Yeah. And they said, we're never going to get in. They spent their entire time sitting in a line outside trying to see if they could find a way to get themselves in a hall. And all they did was sit there with their hands in their head like this. They're just bored. And I said, I feel so bad for you. This is not the way it was ever intended to be. It's not what we're doing, right? Like there's no happiness, there's no joy at San Diego. They've turned it into a big film thing. And then what used to happen was when the panels were on, everybody else was devoid. I mean, once you put the Breaking Bad panel on or pick one, no one got anything. Everybody just flooded away. So nobody's selling anything.
Yeah.
And then when it was really busy, the people would go in front of you like human lava, right? So they would go past you to try to get to something else, and they wouldn't stay at your booth. No one could come talk to you. So the fact is that San Diego kind of became bigger than it could be. And if you go back to, I actually first went there in 1990 with Tundra Publishing when I was a child, right? And so it was crazy. And, by the way, you got to keep coming back to me, Nile, because I've got a million San Diego stories. Mine are all good. Like if you're near me in San Diego, something crazy.
Well, there's one of them that we have together that's not so good, and we're going to talk about that.
Oh, you have to remind me of that. We don't know which one that is, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll never forget it. But
I can start my first San Diego, right? My first San Diego, I'd never been to it before. I'd been to a couple of shows, right? And we went there with Tundra Publishing, and the first thing I had to do, I'm not kidding you, on the first day we were there, was chase the head of marketing down the hallway and rugby tackle him before he punched Neil Gaiman in the mouth.
Oh.
He saw Neil Gaiman. They had an argument when they both used to work for the BBC, and he was drunk, and he went stalking after Neil Gaiman, and I chased him down the hallway and managed to rugby tackle him before he punched Neil Gaiman. So I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
Welcome to Comic-Con.
Welcome to Comic-Con. I go downstairs, right, and I'm sort of like, this is nuts, right? I quite like it, actually. And in those days, remember the top of the Hyatt, right, used to have, it had 2 elevators. And it was great. The top of the Hyatt was great. That's where all the pros would drink.
Yeah.
And so I get in to go upstairs at the Hyatt, and there are 2 elevators. One goes to floor 25, and then the next one goes all the way to 25 and then upwards to the top of the Hyatt bar, something like that, right? So one of the elevators would not go to the Hyatt bar. The Hyatt was great. That's where all the so I get in the elevator and there's three of us. There's me, there's a guy on vacation with his kid, and there's a guy dressed like a Klingon, right? And it's my first Klingon, and I don't know what to do, right? So I'm like, okay.
How bad was the BO? How bad was the BO?
Not great, but so the guy on vacation, he doesn't know what's going on. He's standing there in the elevator, and he's looking at this Klingon, and he's like, what the fuck have I just walked into? He has no idea. He just came to go on vacation in San Diego. Now he's standing in with a guy. So the best part is, so now it goes up to floor 25, and it stops, and he gets out. And this is the year when all the elevators kept breaking. It starts going up, and the elevator gets stuck, and it goes bang, like a big bang. And I'm like, shit, I'm going to die. And now I'm stuck in the elevator with a Klingon. So he hasn't said a word, and I go to him, oh, mate, I'm being friendly, and I go, oh, mate, I guess I have to wait a while. I hope it's all right. And he goes, and I had no idea. I didn't realize that some people would be in character for the duration of the show. So I'm like, what is going on? So I'm like, okay. And I stand there and I'm like, wait, rack your brains, Jenkins. Like, what's happening to you? What's happening right now? And I'm like, oh, this guy is
Stroke.
yeah, this guy, that's right. I thought he had a stroke or something, but it turns out he's in character. So I'm standing there and I realize I'm waiting, and they called down the shaft and they went, hey, it's okay. We're gonna save you or something, right? And I go, okay, cool. And I'm not talking to this guy. And all of a sudden I realize he's looking at me. He's staring me down because he thinks he's trapped in a turbo lift with a human.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, listen, mate, I'm in good shape. And you're a fucking bank manager, right? Like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you if you don't stop.
So he really thought he was a Klingon.
He was a Klingon, and so it ratchets down, and they eventually open the doors, and he says nothing. He just, as haughty as he could be, he just stalks out of the thing and goes somewhere else. And I'm like, this is San Diego, right?
This is San Diego, baby.
And then on my next day, I had a friend that in those days, do you remember, like, this is early 90s, they used to do a lot of porn comics, right?
Yeah.
And so I had a friend of mine, and she was an artist or something, and she said, oh, I see you downstairs. And I saw her, I was like, hey, how's it going? And she said, and she knew a lot of the porn people, but they were all like actors, you know, they were in porn. And so she introduces me to her friend, and her friend is this woman who, she can't put her hands around her boobs, right? She is giant. And I want to say, you know, like, her name was like something illiterate, like Brenda Boobs or something, right? Like whatever a porn name was. And so I go, oh, hello, Brenda. And I put my hand out, and she has a pair of shoes in her hands, and she gives me her shoes. And now I'm standing there holding this pair of shoes. And I'm like, I don't get this. And so I give her back her shoes. And I thought, well, I'll be friendly and British. And so I said, so Brenda Boobs, huh? Mr. and Mrs. Boobs must have been surprised when you turned out to be such a big girl. She was pissed. Why are you annoyed at me? You're the one with the name Brenda Boobs. Why are you angry at me? Because okay, whatever. So my first San Diego was a very confusing time for me, I've got to be honest.
I've never been. That's like you.
It's okay.
I've never been.
Every fan should experience it, right, Chad? I mean, really.
Yeah. I want to go. I want to be there as an actor. Though. Like, I want to go as a guest. I want to have a reason to be there. You know, like I feel. I don't know. Like I've been to Dragon Con here a couple times. I go to Fairy Con a lot. No surprise there.
Fairy Con's a banger, right? Fairy Con.
No, I tell you what though. My moment. It's not Comic Con. It was Fairy Con. Was being. I got to be on a panel with Wendy Froud and Toby Froud. And the Frouds are the concept designers and artists for Labyrinth and the Dark Crystal, which are like, you know, that's like Mecca for me, right? And so to be able to be on a panel with them for my production company with a proof of concept we had and stuff. And it's on a fantasy and filmmaking panel with Holly Black and Wendy and Toby. And I was like, oh man, are you sure I'm supposed to be here? This is amazing. Because they've been my idols for a long time. So
That's awesome.
that's all I got. I was supposed to go to San Diego Comic-Con when I was out in LA, and then I ended up moving back this way and didn't go. So one day I want to go, but I want to be there because I have a reason to be there and people to keep all the not nice people away from me.
Now, are you still attending the cons, Sergio?
What is that?
Are you still attending the cons or planned on going to San Diego this year?
Yeah, I was going to go to San Diego this year. Yeah, I was in Artist Alley.
Now, what's Artist Alley like now? Because you say that you had the tables were 8 feet long. How big are the tables now?
4 feet.
Like two,
4
2.5 feet.
feet. It seems
4
like
feet.
it's getting smaller and smaller. The video games are getting bigger, and the Artist Alley at a Comic-Con is getting smaller and smaller. And they give you how much for a table, if you don't mind me asking?
How much the table?
Yeah, how much?
It's free.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I think they only
Can't
charge you
complain
if you
about
don't show up.
free.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, San Diego.
And the good thing about going to San Diego.
Really?
What
It's
was
a
it called?
No.
non-profit?
Oh, it's
San
not.
Diego's a non-profit. They
Oh,
don't.
wow.
Yeah, Artist Alley is free.
Yeah, the booths aren't. The
so-
exhibit booths aren't. Again, it was sorry.
Yeah, if you enjoy looking at statues and books and the best time to go is before it opens, and you go with and you enjoy looking at all the statues before everybody when it's empty. So there's a ton of things that you can take pictures at. I mean, the statues are amazing. I mean, talking about from small to huge.
Yeah, like in a sideshow booth and all.
Yeah, I mean, all the statue companies that display all the statues, they're phenomenal. Now I think they have rules that you cannot record. I think there are some rules, but in the beginning, I would just live stream to Facebook. Here I'm in San Diego, and I'll go around, and sometimes even as it opened, it's still good to show people all over the world while you're looking at, even as the crowds come in. It's crazy when it opens because they run into whatever they want to go, and you got to be very careful. If you plan to go from point A to point B, you gotta give yourself a half hour.
Yeah.
Once it opens, I mean, there's no way they can cut corners. I mean, the only way to cut corners is to go out, and then enter in through the your door.
Yes, that's
outside. Yeah, but if you want to look at things, the best time is before it opens, and once you sit on your table, you're just there. I mean, and to me, I like the time hanging out afterwards. Going to good food. There's some nice steakhouses and Brazilian steakhouses and stuff.
Yeah, the Brazilian steakhouse.
Yeah, used to be just one, but there are three of them now. And
so, Sergio, not Dick's Last Resort then for you?
They closed Dick's.
Oh no, you kidding me?
Closed down. Now,
for people who don't know, by the way, out there, Dick's Last Resort, like part of their shtick is that you go in, it's just American food, whatever. It's like burgers and stuff, but they're supposed to be rude to you, right? So you go in and they just abuse you for the entire thing.
Oh,
really?
Like that.
Oh, they closed that. I know you're talking about now. They closed that down, Billy.
It used to be a fist fight every Friday night or Saturday night, which is why I would go there all the time because I loved it, right?
Yeah,
and I used to take. I remember I worked with an artist, Leo Durignona, and he didn't really speak any English, and I took him there, and I didn't tell him what the shtick was. I just took him there, and they abused the shit out of him the whole time.
I bet he was. He's like,
they don't even hold
what
back.
That guy said.
Leo was so polite, and they kept saying, "What do you want?" And he'd start ordering, and they go, "Hang on a minute, I'm not talking to you. What about you?" And he had no idea. And so right near the end of the night, we'd been there for an hour, and I was dying, right? And he said, "Paul, I have to tell you, I think the people here are very rude."
They're horrible at that place. I remember because like you'd see it on TV, like like places you got to try or whatever on like Travel Channel. Dude, it's horrible. Like they would like just make fun of you the way you look, talk. Like kids were like not even like they were just mean to like people's kids.
But it was also incredible. It was also violent on a Friday and Saturday night down in San Diego. Like there were a lot of like wedding parties, right? Mm-hmm. And it used to be a great punch up. It was punk all over. It was brilliant. And so I used to just go wander around town and watch drunk people trying to rescue the honor of their brides to be. It was brilliant. And it was just a big fight, the whole town. It was great.
A lot of women, a lot of women too, because these women are all dolled up.
Yeah.
They're wearing like the smallest dresses and the highest heels, and they look stunning. And there's always the bachelorette parties, and then they get in fights with guys because some guys are sailors, and then it's just a mob scene. They literally closed down the gas lamp district. You can't drive, no traffic there. And there's like the comic geeks like. And we would go to Dick's like every Saturday night. We'd end up at Dick's, and there was always like a brawl or something. Or it was great.
I mean, they'd have a band playing at Dick's, and people would throw not just food at them, they would throw plates at them and forks and stuff.
Oh my gosh,
it was nuts. And eventually, somebody would get hit with food, and they'd be drunk, and they'd get angry at someone else who threw the food. And here's a fight, and the tables would clear. It was literally the Wild West, and I loved it. It was my favorite place to go.
It was great. It really was. And
one year that my wife went there with me, 2007, she loved the cosplay. She was amazed at the amount of detail of all the costumes that people dress up and go. And my mother was with me too. They were really amazed at the cosplay. Both all kinds of you find everything there. There's a taste for everything there in San Diego.
You do. And my wife, so the first year she went, she has nothing to do with entertainment at all. She's an elementary school teacher, right? And so she doesn't know anything about this. And she was like, I don't get it. And she had done one signing with me in Arizona, and the line had been there for 9 hours. This was in Wolverine origin time. And she was like, why are these people waiting for your signature? This makes no sense. And so she came with me to San Diego, and people kept coming up to her and saying, can I get a signature with you? Can I get a photo with you? And she's like, what's wrong with you people?
Yeah.
They don't even know who she was, and gotta be important.
Yeah, they just loved it, and so they kept asking her for photos. And after about a day or two of it, she sort of said, "Oh, whatever," and she started taking photos with people. She would just stand there and go like, "Hey, how's it going?" And she would do a photo call. It was great.
That's what with my wife. And if we told the Booth Babe story, if you saw my Facebook post, and it was our very first San Diego in 1994, and we just did not know what it was. And we also weren't aware that at the time, she, number one, was like the biggest comic in the country. Yeah. And I knew our sales were good, but we didn't. But it also, what the comic was that we had 50,000 copies only. Mm-hmm. The Image books are selling X-Men. They're selling 500,000 copies. So it was like the hottest book of the show. And then we made 3,000 copies just for that show of a black and white edition. And it was insane. It was a madhouse. And I remember we were like two kids with our eyes like, you know what I mean? It's just overwhelming. And if I can, and I played it yesterday, but I don't know if it's all right for me to play it again. I found videotape, if anyone saw, I found videotape of San Diego Comic-Con from 1994. And you'll see you'll see Debbie, you'll see Francisca Polito, and it was, and even though they talk about how Lady Death and She were the biggest things of the con, and you just show how different it was back then. If I may, I'll play it if that's all right. You guys care if I do that?
Do it.
I guess.
Sure, show.
It's
the
funny.
world. We're just in it.
It's funny. It's just crazy. So here we go. Ready? Hang on. Let me share. Hang on.
I love that. Let me lean in so I can see better.
Yeah, I want to let me make it bigger. I got to play it to make it bigger.
No, you got to let it load first.
There you go. All right, you're right. PCs take a real long time.
No, they don't.
No.
No, they
Yes, they
don't. No.
The only PC I've ever had has taken a really, really long freaking time.
Look at those shoulder pads.
What the hell is this? Okay, here we go. Right, sorry. Here we go. Right.
Do you want me to play it?
Buffering.
Nope. Right. Okay. Right.
From KNSD, Denise Yamada, Roland Smith, and Joe Lazaro Weather, KNSD First News at 4.
Hello, everyone. I'm Margaret Radford in for Denise Yamada. Move over Superman, it no longer takes a male superhero to knock down the enemy. We visited the San Diego Comic Convention today and found that more and more comic heroes have brawn, brains, and breasts. The comic convention always draws a crowd. People can't wait to get their hands on Superman, Spider-Man, and she. She? Her name means death in Japanese, and she's hot.
But she's not a bimbo. She has intelligence. She has depth. She does not have the balloon boobs and the overly curvaceous body. She's realistic.
Some people might dispute that, but the fact is, readers love her. And a growing number of fit and mighty don't mess with me powerhouses.
Oh yeah, I like tougher women, you know. I'm not explaining, like more independent type women.
The independence of them, because they don't need a man to bring them through everything. So.
Lady Death certainly doesn't need a man to help her solve problems. In one obvious way, she stands out from the others.
Yeah, very well endowed. Very much so. We hear everything from does Lady Death's back hurt, and all sorts of other rude things. But once they read the story, they realize that she's very cool and she's more than a breast or two breasts or just one big huge one.
The stories are very well written and they give them a brain and things that weren't there 20 years ago. But they still the sex is there because sex sells.
But their creators, nearly all men, deny practicing a sex sells strategy.
She does show skin, but I think tastefully. I mean, I'm going to keep the comic book tasteful.
Personally, and that there's nothing more beautiful in the whole world than the female form.
Wonder Woman has kept her form for some 50-some years, but some things never change. Teen boys are the primary readers of comic books, and many don't really like girls.
I think that there is a little bit more acceptance for female heroes than there was, but still it's not an equivalent balance. I think it's reflective of our readership and sometimes of our creative pool, still being primarily male.
Then again, Superman never had a swimsuit issue, and Lady Death does. The San Diego Comic Convention runs through.
That's brilliant. Brawn, brains, and breasts.
Yeah. Oh my god!
How about that? You don't see that anymore on newscasts, do you?
Nope.
No, that was that made me so nostalgic for those days. Man. I knew Brian and Francisca, when he came to us years ago at Tundra with Evil Ernie before he even did Lady Death, right? And so I remember that young lady, and those kids. I met you probably around about 96, 97, Bill. Look at us. We were young.
We were babies. We were like Carrie Ann.
Yeah.
And now look at us.
She's baby.
Look at you now.
Look at us now.
Look at us now.
Talking on the internet on a Thursday night in the summer.
Thursday? Oh my god, I don't even know what night it is.
Instead of being by the dock with a
someone was requesting that you show footage of me hitting on the brick.
I can find footage of you hitting on a brick. Yeah. Oh no, I can't. It's on a different drive. I'll never be able to show it. We'll show it next time on the Meta Studios one. We'll show.
You'll have to tune in to. It's a perfect time to plug Meta Studios, Paul.
That's right. We got a YouTube channel, so come over to Meta and we'll show Carrie Ann hitting on a brick. She's talking about the science fiction thing that we did, Bill. Nile.
Yeah.
We've got one where she hits on a brick. So
it's a parody. It's a parody. She's a shapeshifter. The brick is hopefully a shapeshifter as well. Not just brick. No one knows.
It's not.
He's just a brick, though. So, Anyway, now, Graham. Before I get back to you, Graham, Sergio and Chad, when you guys exhibit in Artist Alley every year, is it guaranteed? Are you guys locked in, grandfathered in, or do you have to apply for it? And do you ever get like, I hope I get in, or if I don't really care? Like, how does that process work?
You have to apply every year.
Right.
Every year.
And I always make sure I do a couple of things for DC, a couple of things for Marvel, just to make sure that I can still get in. But they're getting really selective now. I know a lot of people who I've done Artist Alley with for years that can't get in anymore. And it's just because Artist Alley is shrinking. I mean, I think they cut it in half this last time.
Yep.
I mean, it's half of it literally disappeared.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's really hard to get in.
Yeah, you apply at the end, the last day, they give out the forms to all of us, and they say there's no guarantee that we'll invite you in next year, but I've been fortunate to come every year after the first year that I attended, and I remember sitting in the beginning was Roger Robinson. He was a Batman artist, and Azrael. Before I took Azrael, he was, and James Pascal. But yeah, back then it was an 8-foot table, much bigger, and then it really got small. But and they have new people coming in. I don't know the criteria. I just you have to submit after 2 or 3 years. They let you know when you do your
professional verification. Yeah.
Professional. Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and it's even worse than that. The last time we went, they have people going around checking whether or not you're at your Artist Alley table.
Right.
See, I brought my daughter, Tacey, who was 14 at the time, and she would watch my table when I had to like go do a signing. But like there was one guy who's there, checking whether or not, and she's like, my dad's at a signing. He's like, I don't care. He's not coming back next year. And she was in tears. Like I come back.
Oh my God, really? What? Like a volunteer?
Yeah.
What a
no. Yeah, so I come back from the DC signing and she's in tears, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I just went and talked to the, because I know at this point, I know a lot of people there that have been there for a long time. And I just said, look, I don't care who this guy is. I said, I'm not trying to start trouble, but he's not allowed to talk to my daughter anymore. And I don't want to see him around my booth because I'll punch him in the face. I mean, it's getting a little.
Yeah, Chad. Like one of the things that you see is that a lot of the people who like volunteer for shows. I'm not saying San Diego. I mean any show. Like give them a uniform and a badge, and
Yeah.
I remember at San Diego early on, I was an exhibitor, right? And I walked out the hallway and I thought, and our booth was right next to the door. And as I walked out the door, I went, oh, wait a minute. And the guy said, you can't go back in. And I said, listen, man, I'm right there. And I just forgot my wallet or whatever I forgot. And he's like, no, you can't. I said, here's a suggestion. Why don't you try and stop me? And I just started walking, and he put his arm out, and I'm like, I wouldn't do that to me. So I knocked his arm away, and I said, try it, because the guy's like 5'1" tall. Like, you're not a security guard, man. You're literally just an idiot. Right? And I walked over to my booth, and then I got my stuff, and then I walked back, and it felt like, look, dude, like no one. Yeah, I think that guy was like that. It was the homeowners association, and you're like, dude. First of all, you're not going to stop me. Second of all, come on.
It's like a rent-a-car.
Be nice, man. Like I'm standing right there. I'm 10 feet. By the time you finished arguing with me, I would have gone and got my thing and walked back, and you could have seen me the whole way. So it is important, and it's going to be. Let me plug it one more time. You guys actually want to enjoy the show? Come to Dragon Con. You will have the time of your life.
We were supposed to.
I love Dragon.
We were supposed to go.
Yeah, I was a guest this year. So we had a blast. What was it, 2 years ago?
Yep.
Last year, Paul, we went out to. We had a great time.
We had a great time, man. Dragon Con is great. It's so much fun. And now the comic people sell a ton. It's the perfect mix of people that are coming to find you, and they can get to you and they can talk to you. So there's tons of traffic, and they can actually find you. It's not like trying to navigate through, San Diego Hall and never be able to find you. It's great.
Yeah.
I don't even do San Diego anymore.
There's so many shows that feel like San Diego used to.
Yep.
Yeah.
It really, WonderCon is a great one that feels like San Diego used to feel.
Emerald City, I thought was decent. I quite like
Emerald City. Yeah. I love, for the longest time, they didn't have a show in Vegas. And they've had one now for, 5 years or so. And for me, it's perfect.
Baltimore.
Baltimore. There's so many that run a really good show that feels like Comic-Con did. But no, Comic-Con has gotten a little big for its britches. That's
it's also.
I was going to say, what was the thing with you and I? Remind me which one you were going to do.
Oh, I will.
Go on.
And then we're not going to plug your book. But no, we got a super chat real quick, Sergio.
Yeah.
You see this? Hey, Sergio. Wow, long time no see. It's Chris Rinkevitz. Sorry. Flashback. We worked on Daredevil Annual number 10 in '94.
Yeah, man, that's a long time ago.
What's up, Chris?
Yeah.
And I was this many.
94. That's when the video was from, right?
Yeah, that's when the video was. Thank you, Chris, for that. We appreciate that.
Yeah. Before coming here this evening, I remember that I have a statue of the wolf, the black wolf that Paul does.
Oh, the Fairy Quest from this?
Yeah.
Mr. Wolf.
Yeah, I have that. I have that.
W.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, man.
The figure.
Yeah.
And before putting my fancy shirt, I had my Monster Island T-shirt from Graham Nolan over there.
Yeah, in the Cindy Brady box.
And then I checked Chad's Facebook, and I was busy saving a lot of images. I fell in love with Chad's drawings. Amazing work, Chad. I was like, wow, this guy's good.
Yeah.
Chad's phenomenal.
And Billy and I, we worked together on some. I wrote on your book of Jesus, Mary.
Yes, you did. You gave us a beautiful blurb and helped promote it. We just did our little comic about, and that was a passion project. You understand? Yes. The child is born. I just always wanted to tell the Christmas story. So we told our little child is born. It did real well, sold out. I'm thinking about in 2021, I'm going to do another crowdfunding book, another Indiegogo, and launch it again, as maybe a gift edition or something special with some added pages. Because I just love that story, the Christmas story, because there's so many aspects to it. I mean, you've got adventure, you've got doubt, you've got the villain, you've got a chase, you've got, struggle, you've got disbelief, you've got, the hero turning his back, you've got faith, you got danger. It's really cool. It's an amazing story with just like 2 paragraphs in Matthew and Luke.
And for the people watching the show, Billy over there, he is this guy on a show and in person, very much so the same guy. Very joyous all the time, laughing all the time. I remember, I think I was with Chuck or something, and then you would bang on the glass of this fancy restaurant. Bang on the glass, and then who is that lunatic? And the waiter's looking at this guy, but Billy is always this animatic cartoon character.
Yeah, I'm a cartoon. That's what I am. No, I remember when you guys were there, and I did the old, the elevator, like the walking down the stairs. I did the canoe.
Oh, you're right.
Chuck's laughing, and Serge's like, "Who the hell is that?"
Yeah, always a joy, and I'm sorry then in Florida, when you came, Billy, I think somebody stole your wallet on the.
Yeah, remember that we did the free comic book day.
Right.
And
At
it's so
Yankee
funny.
Street.
Yeah, yep. And it's amazing because we did it. We did the store signing, the big thing. And Sergio, if you remember that, I'm always careful. I'm from New York. I'm always careful with everything. But when I was breaking down my booth and we were just talking, and everyone's supposed to be gone, I left my wallet on the table. And somebody walked by and swiped it. And then you guys all went out to a great dinner. And I spent the evening at the police department and trying to get New York State to send me, a Xerox copy of my license so I could fly home the next morning.
Wow.
So, but it happens. Nobody died, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Graham, when you got your Inkpot award and you were a guest and they fly you in, where did they put you up, right? And do you get a table too, like in Artist Alley or a booth? Do you get anything like that, or they just have you doing panels?
Yeah, if we want one, we can have one. I chose not to, but yeah, you could have one.
Where'd you stay? Where'd they put you up?
Not the one attached to the convention center. If you're looking at it with the water behind it, it's that one off to the left. The tall,
okay, like the Omni or something.
Yeah, I think it was the Omni.
Yeah,
the tall one. It was beautiful.
Yeah, that's a nice. That's where the Eisners are. That's a nice hotel.
I was happy to be there because it took me a little bit away from the crowds.
Yeah,
because everybody was all down at the other end. So
you came with Chuck, right, Graham?
What's that?
You went with Chuck, correct?
Yeah, they brought Chuck in the same time and Kelly Jones too.
Okay.
Nice. Today's Kelly Jones' birthday.
Oh, that's right.
Happy birthday, Kelly.
Happy birthday.
Great Kelly Jones.
Now, if you don't mind, Billy, now, with the Comic-Con at home and everything, and Graham, I know right now you've currently still have, the Chinu up right now on Indiegogo in demand. But do you have anything else going on for the conventions at home?
I'm doing a convention at home with Chuck. We're doing a like a Bane Batman, one of those virtual cons type thing.
Yep.
In August. I think it's August. Let me open up my calendar here. I want to say August 22nd.
And for those out there that haven't seen it, Graham Nolan's The Chinu is up here now on Indiegogo. It's in demand, so you can still get the book. And what I'll do here, and we'll go through everyone's.
Hey, can we play the video?
That's where I was just about to get to.
All right. This is a really cool video.
Yeah,
we love the video.
Shut up, Blevins.
Good evening. Tonight's big story centers on the state of emergency declared this morning in Buffalo.
Between 4,000 and 5,000 cars said to be abandoned on city streets.
Buffalo is still very much a city under siege.
Space's wind whips the snow into 30-foot drifts.
Niagara Falls Air Base, one of their
Below tonight, 10 below zero. Get off the streets and highways as soon as possible.
It's actually 56 pages now because we hit a stretch goal.
Yeah, because you hit that stretch goal.
Yeah, dude, that's amazing.
That's awesome, right?
Congratulations, Graham.
Thank you. Thank you.
So how long are you going to be in demand with this?
It'll be in demand. I'm going to overprint. So, as long as people want to keep buying it and I have copies, I'll keep it in demand.
Fantastic.
And, my next project, once I'm going to start the next one after I start fulfilling this one. I don't want people to think I'm moving on without them getting it fulfilled. So, the next project might have as part of their perk levels, the ability to get the new one, the new project, as well as the Shinu together. You know, this is all under my Compass Comics banner.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I love that Sunshine State cartoon.
Yeah,
Of
it's funny,
the
man.
comic about the Shinu, and I wish there were more murder hornets. That's by far the best.
I think I might make that Murder Hornet a reoccurring character. In
Yeah,
that
dude,
strip.
Jeff.
He's just
like, hey, can you tell me where these guys are? Over there. Cool guy, thanks.
Him, I know.
Are you ever gonna? Do you think you'll ever compile all that into a book and crowdfund?
Yes.
Sunshine State.
Yes, definitely. I want to do a hardcover book,
Nice.
collecting a bunch of the strips.
Well, that's awesome. We'll have a link to the Shinu in the description for the show for anyone else. And I mean, you know, we've got a lot of great campaigns and stuff going on. So we've got Paul's Fairy Quest number 3 rocking it on Kickstarter. 15 days to go. About almost 80% funded.
Yeah, something like that. We're getting there.
Nice. And let's roll the clip, gentlemen.
That's right.
I'm the big bad wolf, and I am very, very hungry.
Hiya, Mr. Wolf.
So the big bad wolf says, I am the big bad wolf, and I am very, very hungry. Oh, hello. Claudius and I are reading his favorite book, is Fairy Quest. And we are about to reprint Fairy Quest 1 and Fairy Quest 2 here on Kickstarter, where it all began. And we're also coming out with Fairy Quest 3, a brand new book. So we would love you guys to be part of our campaign. So we have planned a ton of extras and add-ons, lots of amazing swag that will add to every pledge as we're closing on our funding goals. We can't wait to bring you all kinds of exclusives and incentives that we'll announce if we're lucky enough to hit our stretch goals. And we have some special cover artists lined up. We have Ali Garza, we have Billy Tucci of Sergeant Rock fame, and we have Kevin Eastman, the co-creator of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Fairy Quest 3 is the next chapter in the Fairy Quest saga, which is set in Fablewood, a giant forest where all of the stories live together, but they're divided by genre borders. We originally published the work here in the early days of Kickstarter, and after a long hiatus, I'm really thrilled that we're going to. I know you're going to love the new 48-page chapter with a new main cover by Humberto Ramos. And this time we're welcoming the incredible Mike Bowden, as well as our fantabulous friend Leo Olia, who's going to be doing all of the colors and all of the design and lettering on the book. Since our first Kickstarter, Fairy Quest has been translated into a number of languages. It's been a cool statue. We've seen live action. We've had a bunch of cosplay people come up as our characters. And we've even developed a live action version of it that we performed at Pinewood Studios in Atlanta. All of this comes down to the fans at Kickstarter. We can't do any of this without your help. Fairy Quest exists because of you, and now we're finally able to bring our beautiful book back into print. I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to finish it here where it all began. So thanks for watching our video, and thanks so much for helping us. This is going to be, can we do that one again?
Take 10.
You're not helping.
All right.
Fantastic, Paul.
Can't wait.
And I can't wait to get my book.
Yeah. So we got this.
Who's the interior artist on it?
So right now, the first two were Humberto Ramos, and then the story kind of takes a turn where they go in through the looking glass. And so now it's Mike Bowden, and his stuff is tremendous. Okay. He's doing a really great job. And then as they go through the Wonderland, they go through looking glass and they get closer to the other genre borders. They find the worlds of like science fiction and horror and fantasy. They start escaping out of all the other story realms. Mm-hmm. So Mike's art change kind of they start becoming real people.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's a really cool. His stuff is amazing. We just put up on our Kickstarter. I think we just put up a bunch of new covers. If you guys go to the updates thing quickly, if you can, I don't know if you can navigate there, Nile or Billy, whoever's driving. If you see that one, we'll show you a little bit of the mock-ups on the way the books will look a little bit. You know, we just want to show people like what we're making. There's Ali Garza's cover, and then look at Mike's new cover below. Like, it's just rad.
That's awesome.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. And so, you know, we're working the crowd, right? Like we're 80% of our goal. You know, and it's been 6 years since we did it. So the one thing about it that here, put me up on, you can sort of see me here. I don't know how much oh look, I'll disappear. Look at this. Look at this. I didn't realize that was going to happen.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, there you go. So the book itself, right, has like spot UV coating on it, and all of the front is embossed and stuff, and it's really hard. So we just I want to make books that I can keep, you know, that you can have them for like the rest of your life. And so we put like really high production values on everything. We're not doing any kind of smaller or soft covers or anything like that. We want it the long-term books. And we also announced Jill Thompson's doing a cover for us as well. So we're doing our thing. We're learning, because it's been a long time since I did a Kickstarter. So we're learning every day about what to do and what not to do. And as you know, we have a bit of a legacy of our fulfillment people screwing us last time. So we have a little bit to overcome, because a few people got messed around last time. So, you know.
Yeah, not going to happen again, Paul.
No, it's never going to happen again. No, because I'm doing it. I'm never letting anyone do my fulfillment ever again.
I was trying to buy that Humberto cover, and I missed it. I was very sad. I just got a call from Joseph Damon today and said that it sold, and I was like, no.
Which one? The new one?
Yeah, the new cover for $3.
How much did it sell for? Do you know? How much was it selling for?
I have no idea. He didn't tell me the price. Like, I was working at a deal because I was trying to get Strange Academy number 2, 3, and 4. I was trying to get all the covers for those 3 books, because I'm addicted to Strange Academy.
Yeah, good.
But yeah, and he sold number 4 and almost all of the insides of number 2. So and the cover to Fairy Quest 3, and I was like, oh man, it's horrible.
Sorry, man. Yeah,
I barely missed the charity auction to win the 2 concurrent pages for Fairy Quest when he had them on there. I won the Spider-Man one, but I didn't win the Fairy Quest one, so I was sad.
Right. Yeah, I wish I knew how much they went for, but you know, I don't know, man. I rarely own the artwork for books that I do. I've never been to an awards ceremony. I'm like not connected to this shit. I need to be better connected, man.
Well, you're at the right place. Stick with me, Paul. We'll get you connected.
Nile knows everybody. Nile's connected to everyone.
I'm connected to everyone. And then Chad. I mean, Chad, you had your Kickstarter going that kicked some ass. And I mean, this is awesome, dude. Your third volume in your art book series, and this is new. I've never seen this before. Now taking late pledges.
How's that work?
Yeah, so we went with CrowdOx for our survey, and when you do CrowdOx, basically you can so long as the survey's open, people can make pledges and put on add-ons, and they charge. I think they charge like 5%, but it's already paid. It paid for itself day one. So anything we make off of it from this point out is profit at this point. But yeah, it's great. It's basically a little store.
Yep.
Nice.
That people can come in and take late pledge. Yeah.
Can you?
So if you've never done.
Yeah, can you explain it? I'd love to hear what you like, how that works, because it's relevant to us. I'm sure people watching. How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first for the first Kickstarter I ever did, I did The Art of Chad Hardin volumes 1 and 2, and we went with a survey that was in beta, and it mess our campaign up so bad. I can't even tell you. And even with the nightmare scenario that the survey was, we were still able to get 90% of our fulfillment done before we said we would. But that last 10% went sideways like you would not believe. And so this time we decided to go with CrowdOx, and we love it. We absolutely love it. We found it. It's cheaper than BackerKit. Depending on, you got to, BackerKit is good if you think you're going to have a small campaign.
Mm-hmm.
If you think you're going to if you're going to go over $30,000, CrowdOx is cheaper. And Jim has been on the show before. Jim is the one that basically found all this out. She does her homework and whatnot. But what's great about CrowdOx is it allows people to take late pledges. It allows people to put on add-ons. Like if you make the pledge right now, you can actually go into the add-on store and you can add like Harley books that I have up there, old sketchbooks that I have up there, stickers, keychains, you name it. And we just enamel pins, and we put it in and ship it to you with your fulfillment.
That's
the advantage of using Indiegogo, because Indiegogo has that built into its platform.
Yeah.
You can put add-ons, as many stuff as you want at checkout.
And Billy and I've never done Indiegogo, but Billy and I, we had a talk the other day, and that's something I've noticed that once you do an Indiegogo campaign, that store's there forever pretty much. So
that's the other thing, the in-demand aspect of it. Which I think is a plus.
And that's at no additional cost, correct?
Correct.
You're not paying for a service there with that. But now with this though, are they fulfilling for you, Chad?
No, I went with Brian to fulfill.
Okay.
It was either that or I had to do it, and it was so stressful last time with the survey. I was just like, Brian has 14 people that do fulfillment when he does a campaign.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, he charges a percentage, but for me, just the stress of not having that, because it's just me.
Yeah.
It's just me. And so I went with a fulfillment, but I'd be interested. It sounds like, Paul, you had a bad experience. I'd be interested to hear that. I don't know if you could talk about it on a live stream, but
yeah, I'm not shy about it anymore. I had a terrible experience, and I was completely betrayed in that experience, and I don't know if I feel like being shy about it. One of those situations when you're in the business, and you feel like you shouldn't really. You want to be professional, right? And so I've been professional for 30 years. It's not like but I'm not particularly inclined to stand there and protect people that basically blew us up, So at the time that I did the second one, Boom Studios were my publisher, and they screwed it up. They messed it up so badly. And the worst part of it was they didn't care. And it was my reputation. It was my book. They were my exclusive publisher at the time. So they wanted to publish Fairy Quest, and they wanted to put out all of my books. And so I raised $86,000 for Fairy Quest 2. And I took the money after Fairy Quest things, and I sent every single penny to Boom. And I sent every single penny of Fiction Squad money to Boom as well. So I sent them about $140,000. And the expectation was that I would have a partner that would account for the money and do the fulfillment. And they did none of those things. And so they killed me. They did. There would be people with deluxe editions and stuff like that, and they're supposed to get a signed plate or a tip in. They didn't do it. They didn't send out some sections of my campaign never got sent to the backers. And then when the backers would complain, they'd either offer them a bit of a refund or they would send them an extra book. Now that's not me. And then the other thing that I did, and this is my fault, they asked me, please don't interact with the fans because it's just too confusing. So I let them have access fully to all the message boards and the interactions and stepped back so that I wouldn't get in their way. And they never responded to any questions or complaints or anything. And I found it out in the middle of the campaign. So I went nuts on them and I said, how could you do this to me? Like, this is my fan base and it's my livelihood. And it issued an apology in the middle of the campaign, and you can read it on my old campaign where they say we messed up. Yeah, we're going to get it right, and then they never followed through and did anything after that either. So I'm telling you right now, you can probably hear it in my voice. I have been in this business for a long time, and that thing that happened with them is the worst thing that's ever happened in my life.
Wow.
Because they broke my heart. And, they were my exclusive publisher. That ended that. They're supposed to account for the money I sent. Didn't happen. Still hasn't happened. They didn't account for sending stuff out. So when I went up to 3, it was a big deal for me when I went to go put this back on Kickstarter. Because the problem is, I've got to go, and I knew what would happen. A bunch of people would go, well, you messed, I'm like, yeah, you think I messed you up on too, right? I get it. And so I've faced everything head on. If anyone's got a problem, I deal with them directly, because I'm never going to let anyone touch my campaign again. And, I love Brian, right? So I talked with Brian a little bit about fulfillment, but next time, like not this time. No one's touching it but me and Meta Studios, my company. So, Carrie Ann's in for a long afternoon of a few glasses of wine.
See, and I was the one responsible for screwing up mine. Like I said, I went with that beta survey, and it was so broke. I mean, I spent hours and hours and hours trying to figure stuff out, and we would send emails, and we couldn't get. I mean, it was a nightmare, and I felt the same way. I'm like, hey, this is my name, this is my reputation, and so I opted to do fulfillment with Brian because I wanted to avoid that type of a.
I know one thing that's really weird, Chad, and I know you guys will see it. Really, Graham, I know that you see this, right? I'm amazed sometimes that we'll do an update and you think it's a good one, and it's not. Like it ends up they respond in a weird way, and you go, I didn't see that coming, right? We just did one the other day, and we said, hey, we have a tier of books, and they're all the special cover ones, Bill, right? So it's your cover and Kevin's, and we didn't think they were moving, and we thought that, with no intent, we thought that the books might be overpriced, right? So we got the books, we lowered the price of them and put them in a special tier, and I said, I'm going to personalize every single one of those because people like the personalized books, right? And here's the design. So we're going to show you some of the new design we're going to do. We're going to put gold leaf on the cover, and here's where it's going to be right here. And we're going to do some specific things that make those books even better. So we've lowered the price, personalized message, and we put it out, and people got pissed and wrote to us and said, well, you're messing around with stuff now. And I'm like,
was it the personalized? Because there's so many people out there that just want to flip your book.
And so it was the personalized thing. People didn't want it, and I'm like, well, I don't have to personalize it. I won't if you don't want me to. I can just sign it or not. I would be happy to. But then we did the deluxe edition, and I was really worried because that was the one that one of the ones that Boom really messed with. And I put the new deluxe edition up, and our numbers went whoop, like that, and I'm like, okay, didn't see that coming either. So. We're just trying to get to the place where when we fund, when people see the way that we do this campaign, they will be so pleased and feel like we'll go back to where it was with my first campaign. We'll be the best people we can be, and they'll go you guys are the best, because I'm heartbroken about what happened. It killed me that they did that. They really betrayed my trust.
Well, that would make you murderous. I mean, I'm sorry.
I think the thing was, it took me a long time. I did not feel like being very public about it because I work in this business, and I don't feel like just some diatribe,
Yeah. King KDI
air their dirty laundry either.
Nope. No, it puts it on me, right? I don't want to do that.
KDI asked, was it too much work for Boom Studios, or were they just wholly inept?
No, the answer is number 3. They didn't give a shit. They didn't care, and they were flagrant about how they didn't care. They didn't supply the work for the fans, and they did not answer anyone who had a problem. So if someone said, "Hey, could I do this or that?" And because they had taken the message boards and the interactions away, they were the only people dealing with fans and the only people who had access to it. I had no idea it was happening. And when I asked them, how's it going now? They said, everything's done. We've fulfilled everything. They had not.
Wow.
Hey, Chad, I have a question just to clarify. Did you say that the late pledge cost you an additional 5%?
Yeah, if you do a service like CrowdOx, they charge you. But my experience with having that service attached to your Kickstarter, you will make more money. You'll probably make 5 to 10% more.
I thought I heard somebody say that it was free, and I was like, no, I thought he said that it was 5%.
For Indiegogo, it's built into the platform, and I think Kickstarter will get to that point.
I think they're going to try to compete soon.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised either if Kickstarter's going to start offering fulfillment services, and they're always going to try and sort of one up each other. And I've heard from a lot of people that Indiegogo is the place to do your campaign.
It's starting to. It's definitely starting to.
It's the one I know.
Particularly comics, Indiegogo is the way to go.
It's the way to go. I mean, it's starting to get, I think, maybe less politically driven. I think more people are just heading over there because it is a better platform, especially for a comic creator, right? Because if you're still working on your book, what's the point of stopping the sales, right?
I'm mystified.
Selling.
I'm mystified. What's politically driven about a crowd? Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. Crazy.
So it's basically the short and simple. I mean, it's, the left uses Kickstarter, the right uses Indiegogo. Why makes no sense. They're just their platform.
Well, there was a lot of things that Kickstarter Kickstarter shut down people. Say it again.
In my mind, it makes
sense.
Kickstarter shut down people.
They shut and they pulled people's projects and things because of supposed political.
I almost can't even hear it. Like, here's what I do. I'm an outsider. You get talking politics with me, I'll tell you to stop. I'm not going to talk politics, right?
Yeah.
I'll make mine available on Kickstarter, Indiegogo. Stop it. Like, I do not want politics to even touch what we do. It's
I could agree. I could not agree with you more.
Maplewood.
Yeah, that's right.
People are going to try and put you in one camp or the other.
They're going to. They want to pick sides. They want.
I have not heard that either. Like, what is the deal? I don't get it.
I'm mystified.
It's a very long story. It's a very long story.
I had a guy tell me when I messaged him about my new project, hey, I'm launching the Shinu and it's on Indiegogo, blah, blah, blah. And he says, I took a look at it. I really like it, but it's too bad it's not on Kickstarter because that's the only platform I support. I'm like,
make it stop. Please make it stop.
I said, why? I mean, isn't the product the end game here? Isn't it, the best product you can get? I mean, do you only buy Ford cars? I mean,
right.
What if there was a Dodge truck was better than a Ford truck? Who cares? And he says,
for me, for film, they tell you there's like a third option. Seed and Spark is the one that everybody tells me to do for film.
There you go. Yeah.
Which is one.
There was a thing that went on that somebody would complain about someone and literally say this person's a white supremacist. There's no basis behind it, anything like that. This is what happens. They call people Nazis if they disagree with them. They do. There are people that they just live on Twitter and et cetera and things like that, and they're crazy. And they will contact and hashtag Kickstarter, or they'll contact Kickstarter directly, and they will try to destroy someone's career. I don't know why they don't mind their own fucking business. Kelly Sue DeConnick said, if you don't like me, if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book, right? But these people can't do that. They have to try to.
Well, they're
And Kickstarter actually pulled some people's campaigns that were actually started that were being successful.
Yeah, they had some people had raised like $80,000, $100,000, and they shut it down, and those people got nothing.
Yeah.
They raised.
Now here's a not quite an argument, but something that we just had. I had to step away because of our hoodies and our T-shirts. Everything is done with our campaign except for our hoodies and our T-shirts. And my wife loves doing these all over hoodies and T-shirts, 3D printed and all this. And I can't stand them. I just can't stand it. I love the way the shirts come out, but it's like I don't know if we lose money on it. We don't make money off of it, but it's just kind of a really cool thing to do. Is have these, they look nice. The all over printed shirts like Graham, like we're wearing right now, right there, brother. Yeah. So but it is such a pain in the ass. I have my friend Mike coming over now after work to try to redo the files, because whenever you send them these files, and we always want to get things done in the United States, but but it's like, this is off. This is not good. And and their art departments, because of COVID, are not working at the place. Still, they're shut down. So you have to literally go through these things like 4 or 5 steps. But I digress. But a conversation we had on Kickstarter, my wife and I today, is that when we launched Shihikyo on September 2nd, of which I'm finishing up page 6 right now already, which is kind of cool. She wants to do both Kickstarter and Indiegogo, because we have over 1,000 backers on Kickstarter. We made over $70,000 on Kickstarter in 21 days because we only did a 3-week campaign. I'm like, F them, they do this, blah, blah, blah. So, but she's again, like you, Graham, like you said, well, we have, you have a Dodge truck, we have the extra Jeep, but when we got a new car, we bought a Chevy Traverse. We bought a new truck, because we like the Chevy Traverse better. Do you just want to buy Jeeps and Dodge products, or do you, or people? Why don't you sell it to as many people as possible?
Why are people such psychos about this? Like, it's art. Enjoy it.
They're literally loser psychopaths that will try to shut you down. And if you saw my tweet, and that kind of raised the eyebrow.
There's brand loyalty that goes all the way back to Coke and Pepsi.
There you go.
Absolutely. And they pick sides for some reason, and they will not cross those lines.
Well, that's like when you watch now, Carrie Ann, you're an actress. We went to an Oscar party once, right? And it says, and for Best Picture is, and Best Actress is Meryl Streep. And these people would cheer and scream because they wanted Meryl Streep to win this so badly. Like, Meryl Streep gives a crap about them. They had so much investment that they picked Meryl Streep. She's my favorite actress and she's got to win. And I was like, what the hell's wrong with these people?
Oh, but I think that's nice. I mean, I think when it's like
that. Am I the only one that's not like that?
Don't you want your hockey team to win?
Well, that's the hockey team.
I feel like if it's like you're supporting your team, right? Like, people like sports teams, people have actors they love. If it's coming from a place of joy because it makes you happy, then I have no issue with that. And I think that's my dog, by the way.
It's like, what is that?
It's like, all right, look.
I was looking.
Okay, Meryl Streep, you can win.
I got it.
At first, I thought it was Paul.
You're good.
No, she was being pitiful in my room, so I let her out. And now she's bringing me all her toys. And
maybe I'm still a little pissed off. And
I don't think it's so much that people care whether you like your team. It used to be though, like you could like what you like, and people be like, okay, cool, whatever. But now it's like, you like that? F you! I'm going to shut you down. And you're just like, what? Like, I just want to. Can I just read a comic? That's all I want to do is read a comic.
Well, can I just say something, right? My books are for everybody, man. Like, my work is for everybody. What do you think? I make stuff, and then I try to select who the hell is going to get it. That's as bizarre as it gets, right? Like, we make content. We make content that I think is beautiful, and it's a story that, like, in Fairy Quest, for example, it's just like kids love it, grown-ups love it, like everyone loves it, right? It looks beautiful. So I'm telling you right now, like, there's no way you can't get someone on me. I'm a punk, man. You start talking to me about politics, I'll shut you down because it's a fucking self-enrichment scheme for a bunch of politicians. So stop it, right?
Yeah.
Beyond that, I love everybody. So you're all going to get a copy. I'm not going to hold us to Kickstarter or Indiegogo. They're going to go everywhere, man. Like, everyone gets these books. And so I hate that this conversation's even been derailed. Like, let's stop, right? Because I don't want to talk about politics.
I have a Billy Tucci story.
Oh, well, once you're done with that story, I got something that we all need to check out.
All right, so this is a while back, and I had just finished writing my novel, which I was super excited about. So I reached out to my favorite indie creator, my favorite indie creator, and I made plans to meet him at Wizards World. So I flew from South Carolina all the way out to Wizards World, met up with him. I was super fanboyed out. It was amazing. We went out to eat. We talked about the She movie. We talked about Hero Clicks. We were going to go watch a movie, but his kid had just been born, and his wife was calling him to like tell goodnight to. So we made this big plan and like traded numbers, and it was the greatest experience of my life. And got his phone number. He was going to come visit. We were going to go duck hunting. I mean, it was like the best time ever. And never heard from him again until 10 years later. 10 years later. And now I was lucky enough to befriend him, but he does not remember this day at all.
Okay, now, in my defense, Paul and Graham, this was at the Chicago Comic-Con. What happened
Wizard World
at Chicago Comic-Con when it ends?
Vistas, Knuckles.
I'm lucky I wake up in my own room.
Yeah,
it was Wizard World Los Angeles. It was
in Los Angeles?
Yes, I believe so.
Oh,
I believe so.
I think it was Chicago, buddy.
It started definitely not Chicago.
Los Angeles.
But yeah, it was.
Well, you know what happens at Wizard World, Los Angeles, don't you?
Yeah, I mean,
Chicago.
I mean, I definitely bought enough drinks to know what was going on. Like I was drinking Dr. Pepper, but yeah, I knew what was happening.
Dude, I hang out with a rough crowd, man. I hang out with a rough crowd.
It was the greatest moment. It was the greatest moment of my life, and then the worst 3 weeks of my life, as I just cried to sleep every night.
No, Paul's like, dude, you gotta stay away from that guy. That guy's nuts.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, Friends, listen in, let's love in the dark. It's cool.
He's like, what do you mean we're not sharing a hotel room?
Just let it happen, Billy. Just let it happen.
Oh my God! See,
unbelievable.
It's me you're talking about.
Unbelievable.
No,
let's check out something really worth supporting right here.
All right.
So tell me how far you are in the series, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty far.
Have you gotten to that part where he gets his power back and he tears down that building?
He was an orphan, raised by the royal family, and he becomes the chosen one.
He is the chosen one.
Can regenerate dead people.
Converts water into other substances.
He can control the weather.
He can see the future, man.
He turns people into salt.
The entire city gets destroyed by sound waves. Sound waves.
Before he flies back home, he passes his mantle to a fellowship of 12.
Angel of death.
Giants.
Freaky visions.
Dragons.
Killer lions.
Sea monsters.
Flying chariots.
He sacrifices himself to save the world.
Hey, what comic book are you guys talking about?
Dude, this isn't a comic book.
What?
Incredible.
Oh,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Let me tell you, I was trying to look for the updated video because this one is 7 years old, but they use the same video with a new one. And I put the link to Neil, the anniversary one coming out in September. It's gonna have 125 more pages.
Would you write another gospel? I mean, how do you get another 125 pages?
The sequel.
No. I just extended art on old stories and
okay,
and adding, because the actual Bible is not that complete Bible. Just 212 in the original one was only 212 stories from the Bible.
Oh,
okay.
So we added more stories. We added more stories and we extended.
Is it all?
I wanted to do more double page spreads with the original one where the water being parted by Moses. I want to take a double page spread. I have that on my computer here.
Can you share your screen?
Yeah, there we go.
Wow.
Wow. Oh my God. Oh, literally.
Yeah. So the first one didn't have a double page spread on that scene, and to me it was like, hey guys, we gotta use a double page spread. Come on, that sort of thing. Let me show you another image. Just a few more images here. One sec. Now that's one of the pages there.
It's beautifully illustrated and colored.
Yeah. You colored this too, right, Sergio?
No, I didn't color it. I on the first one I subcontracted 7 colorists.
Oh wow.
Yeah, on the second endeavor, I did. I only had 1 colorist, but this scene I wanted to make a double page spread too. Where the Romans come after the Jews and the water engulfs the whole army underwater.
Yeah, Egyptians though, right?
Egyptians.
Yeah, the Egyptians.
Not the Romans.
Romans are like,
Romans have cooler.
It was.
How do I know?
What do I know? I don't read it.
Yeah. the Romans, the Egyptians.
It was Skynet.
Skynet. Yeah.
Skynet.
But yeah, it's pretty awesome to see the success of this book.
Mm-hmm.
Even from sometimes I'm at conventions and I see this kid come with tattoos and ear pierced and she looked like she was not a biblical person at all, and I thought, oh no, she's gonna come and mock my Christianity here on my table. And she comes, dude, you made me read the Bible.
That's great.
That's sort of thing. You can't pay somebody to give you the ecstasy of that. From people all over the spectrum, from looking very Christian-like to the extreme, off the wall kind of guy or girl that come to your table and thank you for a book like that. So to me, this book has been great. Don't get me wrong. I love all the books that I buy, and I support. I'm going to support whoever I'm not supporting yet, like Chad. I didn't know about Chad until today, and I'm going to definitely get your book.
sure.
But I support Billy. I support Graham and Chuck and so many other great artists out there. But this book, made me know the world. I've been to Australia, to Turkey, to Brazil, Mexico, Canada, and meeting Billy more because of it, and getting to know other people and getting notoriety in the industry and be respected. Mm-hmm. I think I'm respected in the comic business more because of this book than my Captain America, Spider-Man, Batman. And I'm with you, Paul.
Sergio,
I love doing comics, and we all enjoy a good story, no matter what it is. How cool is it to have a big wolf? How cool is it to have a big island with monsters? All of that, it's fun. It's fun.
We're world builders, we're building worlds, and it's immortal, and it's ours. We own it,
right?
And it's art. It's like I said, this is our shot at immortality. Graham, I'm not Graham. I'm sorry, Sergio. Did you get any resistance from doing the Action Bible? Because I had a similar experience when they announced the Action Bible, and I remember I was trying to write my letter in the back of the book of A Child Is Born, And I remember thinking to my son, and it's a true story. And my son William said, "What are you working on?" I said, "Oh, I'm working on a comic book about the birth of Jesus." And he said, he's like, "Well, why aren't you working on, this is when I started working for Marvel and DC doing stuff." He's like, "Well, why aren't you working on a superhero comic?" He's little. He probably was, I don't know, 3, 4, maybe 5 years old. And I said, and it just hit me. And I said, "Matthew," I said, "Jesus is a superhero." I said, he's the greatest superhero the world's ever known. And that was my key for my final letter. And I don't know, Newsarama did an interview with me or something like that, and I told him that story. And you should have seen the comments about it. I always thought Tucci was a tool. Now I have proof. Weird shit like this by these people. And I'm wondering, and that was just our little comic book about Christmas Story. Have you received? Now you're a big dude that you could throw someone through a wall if you want to. But have you gotten resistance either online or anything like that for doing this book and professing your faith and all?
Never.
That's great.
I'm telling you, I'm respected. They might talk behind my back, but in front of me, I get respect from all the atheists and perverts and
perverts. That might be because
I get respected. I get respected to my face. I don't know if they talk behind my back. I don't know. It's like the other day I was talking to a friend because I'm associated with Chuck, and then he said, and he mentioned something about people smearing our careers, smearing our names. And I was like, I never heard of that. I had no idea if I do have, if somebody tried to smear my career. I'm not aware of it. And so, oh no, because people they do that with Chuck, and because Chuck, and I've never heard of it. Maybe they talk behind my back, but in front of me, never.
I think it's probably because of this, right? Like, so the way that I look at it, like, I'm not a religious person, but the question is it a good story or not, right? Not being funny or anything, but if they pick up the book and they like it and it's a good story, they probably like it, right? So who cares?
Right.
I mean, at a certain point, if it looks good and it's interesting, and like you just said, someone came out and went, "You got me to read the Bible, dude," and it's like, cool, right? So I don't know if people are that worried about it. If it's a good story and it looks good, they'll read it, right? And that's exactly. Best, So
yeah, and we get people interested in the other comics. The people that never bought comics.
Ooh, that's pretty. Is that Fairy Quest, Paul? Yeah, that's gotta be.
I just got the reason I put it up backstage now is I just got this. It just got sent in. This is an artist. She is one of my favorite people on the internet. Her name is Jennifer Meyer.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You can follow her. I'm gonna find her so I can give her a shout out because her stuff is so great.
That's beautiful.
She's at Jennifer L. Meyer, right? And if you guys ever want to put yourself in a good mood, go to her Twitter feed, and on a daily basis, she just puts up little pictures of like bunny rabbits and stuff.
Oh, she's the one you told me to follow. I'm following her.
She's the best, and she's also
we need more of that.
She's the sweetest person, right? And her artwork makes me smile every time I look at it. So she said, "I would love to do a Fairy Quest image," and I said, "You got to put some bunnies in it," and she did.
Oh!
And look at what she did. Isn't it great?
Paul, I'm going to need a print of that, please.
I don't know what to do yet. I will tell you that, when we're done with our Kickstarter, we are going to Indiegogo. We knew that, right? And so this might be an Indiegogo thing. It's a bit late to put it up on Kickstarter right now because we don't want to mess up what we're doing. Like, we like doing the thing that we're doing, but once we go over to Indiegogo, I think this could be a unique print. I'll ask that. I try to ask, I don't know if you guys do this, but I try to ask our fans on Kickstarter, like, what works for you? What's working? What do you want? We don't mind, but we're only doing printed things. We're not going to do anything like statues at the moment or cups or extra stuff, because we feel like with all the problems we had with the last one, we want to make sure that we deliver exactly what people need. I will say this is a nice print, so we'll see.
It's beautiful. Oh, there's the dog.
Oh, there he is. Graham. No, Graham. I know you have to get going soon, so we definitely appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us tonight. Anything else you've got going on? Anything else you want to plug?
No, I'm in full Shanu mode right now. I've got 10 pages completed. I've laid out up to page 15, and what I'm doing is I am updating my backers every single week, so that they know where we are in the process. I mean, and probably you guys too. You've backed projects in the past, and sometimes you forget you've backed them because you never hear anything from these guys. Sometimes it takes a year, and then all of a sudden you get an update. And I wanted my backers to know that, you know, when they invest their trust and their money in my projects, that they'll be kept in the loop every single week. So that's what I'm doing right now. Is I'm doing that and keeping them. You know, I'm moving the train along and keeping them updated.
Very cool, man.
Some top notch material to back up tonight. Let me tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gorgeous, Graham. It's gorgeous, and you're just killing it with it. And congratulations, man. You deserve it. And another thing, if I may, real quick, and Graham, I could see like your campaign ended. You're in demand mode. With us, with the She comic, and I know we haven't shared that, but I also have a crowdfunding campaign going on right now, Indiegogo, but. So maybe now wants to throw that up. I don't know. Maybe
I'm good.
Yeah, he's all right.
Hey, how are you?
Anyway, so, no, but I have. We are coming on now. See that we're if you look at what we did, we did the campaign for 21 days. We were $58,661 or whatever. We did in 3 weeks. But look at our in demand. We're now like $2,000 away from doubling our entire campaign just being in demand while we're putting this book together.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what I love. And Chad, remember you and I were talking the other day about Indiegogo, and I can't stress of what a big fan I am for Indiegogo.
Okay.
And again, there's nothing to stop you from doing both. I think we're probably going to do both anyway, because Deb, as we were saying, you know, some people just shop exclusively on Kickstarter. Some people shop exclusively on Indiegogo.
Well,
right?
It's a matter of having to learn something new. Like all my students, they all use Clip Studio. And they're like, you got to get off Photoshop. You got to use Clip Studio. And I'm like, I don't want to learn another program.
Exactly.
Like,
well, honey, it's
but I mean, this is business. So, you gotta bite the bullet every now and then and do the hard thing. But no, that's amazing. That's amazing.
And what we did is that we feel that because this is part 2 of our story, the Haikyo, the She Haikyo comic is part 2 of the story. So we have, again, over 1,000 backers just on Kickstarter. So we feel, at least for this one, right? That's what you're saying, that we should probably do both?
Yeah, because there are some people that have a real allegiance to Kickstarter, maybe because it's the one that started, maybe because, you know, everybody has their own degree of discomfort with change, and so there are some people that that kind of gripe when there's something that we only have available on Indiegogo, which we did do on purpose. That people who were loyal to Indiegogo got special stuff. People who were loyal to Kickstarter got special stuff. And if somebody wanted to cross over and, you know, buy most of everything on Kickstarter, but buy that one book on Indiegogo, they could. It didn't stop them. And, you know, it made my job in the end a lot more hectic because we have more covers than we know what to do with right now in this book. But it made everybody happy, except me.
Except for you. So that's what we got to say again.
If I ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
So question for all of you doing the Kickstarter Indiegogo. You all do your own like what Paul said,
fulfillment?
Fulfillment?
Yeah,
Yes.
we do, or I do.
We do. Chad's doing his through Coffin, right?
Coffin Comics, yeah.
Brian Polito, you know Brian Polito and Fran with Lady Death and all. They've got an amazing machine. And it's a little team of people, and they're the most dedicated people you'll ever meet to a company, and they will get your book out, which will take us a month. They'll probably get it out in a week.
Yeah.
but it's going to cost.
You're talking about boxing and shipping it out.
Yes. Oh yeah, and that's a lot of work. Now look at Chad's the only one doing it. I have, Debbie's doing it. Well, we'll get together.
Me, my children, my
So-
children's friends.
But I would go to Brian, but Brian is he's all business. He's very regimental. He needs to know because this is a part of his business. So he's like, you got to let me know when it's coming. You got, because I got to know the date. I got to know the date when the stickers are coming or when it, you know what I mean? And he's all business. And we're like, well, I don't know when it's going to come. So that's the last thing I need is.
It's also because he can't have it interfere with his own fulfillment.
Right.
And I understand. That. And we're not scheduled enough yet. We're not grown up enough yet.
Right.
I'm using. And I looked out that mine was in between his two campaigns, so scheduling is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm using a Creation.Inc. Those are the guys who did Monster Island. So they did a terrific job boxing and collating and putting stickers on the boxes, making it a really nice presentation. So I was happy with what they did on Monster Island and Return to Monster Island. So I'm using them for my fulfillment as well.
Yeah, no, they did a great job, Graham.
Oh yeah,
looks fantastic.
Great packaging, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, they're even handling the printing too of a lot of my ancillary stuff like the stickers, bookmark, trading card, posters. They can all do that all in house, so nothing's got to be shipped to them too. So they can handle all that printing stuff. And then because my print numbers have gone up so high, they can't print. I don't think we're going to be printing the comic in house because the needs are higher. And we also hit stretch goals where we're going to get foil stamps on the covers, and they can't handle that. So we have to farm that out too. But
who are you looking for to print, Nile? Sorry, Graham.
There's two printers that Creation.Inc. is looking at. I can't remember who they are right now.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
Stogie, well done. Congratulations, buddy.
And Chad, I know you got to be heading out soon. You got to get back on Harley.
Yeah, I got to get out of here, guys, too. So I want to say thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Great hanging out with everybody and seeing everybody, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Definitely.
Thanks, guys.
I'll see you, Billy. See you guys.
Have a good one, Graham.
See you later, bro.
Good one, Chad.
Bye-bye.
Good
All right,
job.
and then-
Never leave.
And then there were 6.
Yes. All right. Now.
Carrie Ann, we have to chug.
Yes.
Look at Rune. Look at the
We have
state.
to
of him.
what?
Look at the cats of Instagram up there. Look at the state of that cat.
Can we zoom in on the cat?
Yeah, we can zoom in on the
I
cat.
know. Look at him.
Oh, beautiful.
He's sleeping. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look.
He's the king, huh?
He is the king, that cat, and he look at him. So we're chugging. TJ James says, "Are we chugging?" I got. You see how much peppermint schnapps I got left?
Oh my god.
Oh, that's the
It's
worst.
always with the handle.
Oh no.
Billy, you gotta talk with the Paul's accent. That will jump your sales right up.
We all talk Paul's accent.
With the what accent? With Paul's accent?
Yeah.
Sergio, I don't have an accent, to be fair.
Let's talk.
Although, you know what though, Paul, I don't think I would sound like if I tried. I sound like I'm from a different part of London, of England when I do mine.
Yeah.
Niall, can you talk like Paul?
Carrie Ann is not from the same
Paul.
place as Paul.
Listen, there's loads of different ways that you can talk like me, right? If you talk like this, you're from North London. And if you talk like this, you're a bit from South London. And then if you go down here, you're like in the West Country where I grew up, right up there. And then if you go up here, you're in Wales, which is where my family's from. So, I got minty fresh breath. It's absolutely good.
He's drinking Paul, Niall, how do the people in Liverpool talk?
I don't know, Billy. How do they talk?
See, I learned when I was in Brazil. We learned the British English, and then I came to America, and they ruined me. I was like, when I was 20, I was like, not at all. How do you do? And you come to America, it's like, hey man, what up? And what up?
Dude, you came to New Jersey.
Oh yeah, TJ is really funny. TJ really wants me to do my Scarlett O'Hara.
Oh, that's right. Well,
Yes, let's do it. Let's do
You
it.
have to drink first. Drink first.
I don't have a glass wine. I'm trying to think of like one of her lines. She's like, "God is my witness. I will never go hungry again."
There you go. But you should do that with wine, Carrie Ann. You can't.
Well, here, I've got. It's not in the glass. It's in the bottle on the floor.
I'll drink for Carrie Ann. Here you go.
But you know, I don't know. I don't know. What do you want me to say, Scarlett?
Just say anything you want.
Tell me what you want, Scarlett.
I do declare.
I do declare. Right, it's very weird for me because like my natural in my head voice is British, so it's really weird for me to be like Old South.
And the strangest thing, and people have never known this about me, that my natural voice inside my head is like, "Oh, I have the vapors."
yeah, being on PopXP, you got the vapors. There you go.
No, because in my mind, I'm always like, "Hello, yeah, hi, Jing," yeah, right, and then then you what, Scarlett O'Hara.
I like how Charlie's is listening, right? So like Charlie and I, we're both from like South London, right? So she's listening to this in horror, like I always do when I listen to you people acting. Like her ears are bleeding.
When I went to the Cuba school, I one time I lived in Manhattan, and people there talked like, you want coffee? You want to talk to my mother, my father?
Yeah. I like when I came over and people go, "Hey, Paulie."
It's like forget about it. It's like Manhattan.
Sorry, yawning so much. Sorry, guys. I'm awake. We're here. Everyone's accounted for.
Oh, here we go. I don't even see this. Here we go.
Oh, there we go. Oh, wait a minute. All right, that's Rhett.
As good as I am.
God will never be hungry again. What's the other one? After all, tomorrow is another day.
Yeah, and I think tomorrow. Oh, where's another good line? Come on. Can you do that?
Let's see. Wait, which one are you looking at?
Here we go. Scarlett O'Hara. I right here. Scarlett O'Hara. You'd rather live with that silly little fool.
Oh goodness, you'd rather live with that silly little fool
who can't open their mouth except
sucker.
Yeah, I can't really. It's blurry, so I can't really.
Yeah, it's blurry.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, Carrie Ann, they say
low
never start with an apology, Carrie Ann.
I know, whatever. I've only seen the movie one time. I saw it because I got hired to play Scarlett O'Hara at a convention. I was their spokesbill. It was the ridiculous things we do as actors, but they paid me a ridiculous amount of money to prance around in the picnic dress. And I made them give me a plastic fan so that I could hit any of the men that tried to because I had this guy, he comes up and he tugs on my dress, right? And so I took the fan and I whacked his hand, and he was shocked that I hit him, and I said, a man does not tug on a lady's dress. And he goes, well, I tug on my wife's dress, and I said, well, I sir am not your wife. But it was fun. But I watched it for that, and I watched man, that's a beautiful movie about horrible people.
Yep.
Yeah, they filmed it.
Terrible.
They filmed some of it right down the road here at the old mill.
Oh, okay.
The old mill. The old mill.
That's not the old mill. I believe that would be the old meal.
Oh God! Oh God! I'm from the South, and I can't stand deep Southern accents. It makes me
Well, I guess I'll go, man.
I love it when I moved down there.
Yeah,
I love it. I moved down there and I listen to people talking, and I'm like, this is the best thing ever. People will always say to me in America, they go, say something else. Your accent is so pretty. And why that's funny is, and Charlie's knows, right? Our accent is the worst accent in Great Britain, pretty much, except for Newcastle. We have the worst accent. And so I moved down here and I would listen to people talking in Georgia accents. And I'm like, this is the best thing ever. I love it. This is so funny. And so people would say things to me and I'd say that again. And they'd be all excited, me? Little old me? And I'm like, yeah, say it again because it's fucking great.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, Billy getting ready to say something?
I am, but it's gonna be stupid, so I'm not gonna say.
No, go ahead. You got to say it now. I said the badges statement earlier when I thought you were talking about getting badges for World War II vets. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't understand how that went. Nah, it's all right. It's gone.
Did you not say that you were trying to get badges for World War II vets?
You will not get this time back, Sergio.
Paul, did your accent help you?
Nope.
Did your accent help you land nigh perfect?
My accent probably did, yeah. Listen, this
I
is
bet
how it
you
works,
did,
right?
buddy.
How could I possibly be married to somebody as gorgeous as my wife, right? Who's really pleasant.
Brilliant. She's a teacher.
She's an elementary. So this is how it works. Carrie Ann, with all due respect, right? It works out. It goes kind of like, stripper, Hooters waitress, kind of actress, model, and there's the pinnacle, and then to me, elementary school teacher, right? Like is one above model, right? And so she liked my accent, but mostly she liked the fact that I let her be who she is, let her do what she wants, which is good, because if I didn't, I'd be sick. I said to the other day, she said, because she got really sick, she had a sinus infection. She asked me if she looked bad. And I said, yeah, you look repulsive. So I've been sleeping downstairs all week.
Now, she didn't like you because of your pool playing skills?
She did, actually. She saw me play football a lot. And then she was there when
pool playing, like pool?
Oh, pool playing? Tell the story.
Somebody in the audience is Crystal. I don't know if she's still here, but apparently she beat you in pool.
Crystal did?
Yes, she did.
No one beats me in pool, mate.
Dude, that's her claim to fame.
Is that it? Really?
Yeah.
No, she did. Let's see. I'm a text her.
She just said night, y'all, off to sleep right before you brought that up.
Oh, did you?
Crystal beat me at pool. I'll tell you what, Crystal, if you beat me at pool, kudos to you, because I once played at for Heroes, or for the not the comic book relief fund, but the other one. And so they rented a pool table and they put it in the middle of the convention, and people could play me for money for charity. And
hang on,
I lost 5 games, and 3 of them were on purpose.
Wait a minute, Kissel, did you beat? Kissel, you beat Paul Jenkins in pool, did you not?
I sure did.
What?
Uh-oh.
I did.
Yes. Now, where did you beat Paul?
In Chicago.
Oh, there was no little tournament there, was there, Paul?
On the tables. Like in the convention center.
Where did you play pool at?
No, I'm saying, did you do it on the table in the convention center, or was it in Knuckles?
Oh no, it was in the convention center.
Yeah, when we did it for charity. Like I said, I lost 3 of them on purpose.
On purpose.
Rematch.
Oh, dang.
Rematch.
Yeah, but he could be lying.
He could be lying, yeah.
He could be lying, because he had lots to drink.
Yeah.
I can smell his minty fresh breath in Kentucky.
I will agree
right.
with Crystal that day 2.
Bye.
Day 2, I wasn't as sober as day 1. Day 2 was a harder day of playing pool, because and that's all I did for 3 days was play pool. It was great.
She was so excited. She was like, she's like, I beat Paul Jenkins in pool. I beat him in pool. And Paul's like, yeah, I lost those things for charity to make money for.
The way it was,
just let him have it, Paul. Let him have it.
They kept bringing people up to me. And I struggled to let people win on purpose, right? I'm like, if you can't beat me, you can't beat me. And they said to me after a day, they were like, Paul, you got to give some stuff away. Like, we're trying to raise money for charity, but you got to lose it. It was really funny. I played Mark Miller, and I played him and Joe Quesada both behind my back. And against Joe, I broke and then played behind my back and cleared the table on him he didn't get a shot.
I'm sure he was real happy with that one.
Yeah, he wasn't that happy about that. Yeah.
Paul, if we ever get to meet in person, me and you are going to have to play a game of pool.
Oh, that sounds like a challenge.
It's going to be hopefully it'll be a learning experience for you.
Oh, Oh man, I'm thinking Dragon Con next year.
Dragon Con next year.
I think it's going to have to happen.
Billy, I hate to bring this up, but tell the San Diego story. Go on.
Oh, you son of a bitch. That's right. So, okay. So the year, it was 2006, Marvel versus DC softball game, charity softball game. And the winner wins the Stan Lee Cup.
That's right.
So I'm playing for Marvel because I'm doing Heroes for Hire. And I pitch for Marvel.
No, you pitch.
No, this 2006. This is the year before.
Yeah.
You ruined 2007. 2006 was great.
Yeah.
So, and I pitch, I think I shut him out. I might have pitched 5 scoreless innings. I had 3 base hits, whatever, a home run or something. And I got MVP for the Stan Lee Cup, right? So the next year, I'm now working for DC, so I'm on the DC team because I'm doing Sergeant Rock and stuff to start. And we're doing great. We're kicking their ass, DC. Now DC's all mad. They want to win this one. They're praising me because they're so happy I'm working for DC now. I wasn't doing anything for Marvel. And then this limey bastard comes and it's like, well, I don't know how to pitch.
Wait, hold on. So let me stop you there because
like, you got to pitch. And Paul's like, I don't know how to pitch.
No, that's not what happened. Let me tell you what happened. So the funniest thing was that we start playing against you, and Peter David is our pitcher.
Yes.
Right? And he starts pitching, and you guys are winning, right? Like DC's winning. And Peter, it was 7 innings? And after 3, Peter was dripping sweat, and he said, I can't do anymore. I've given all I've got. I'm like, after 3 innings of slow pitch softball, you gotta be kidding me. So someone comes over to us and said, who can pitch? Right now, I don't play softball, and I went, I can. And I've never been anywhere near a pitcher's mound ever, right? And so they give me the softball, and I threw the first pitch. It was probably to you, Bill, and someone whacked it really hard. Like the first time I threw a pitch, someone smashed it, and I'm like, well, I can't throw it like that anymore. So the next one, I spun, and it went in the air, and the person swung at it, and they missed it. This is slow pitch softball, and I had 9 strikeouts. Right?
People were pissed. He shut us out.
I shut you out.
He shut us out, and I still did good. I think I got bases. I'm probably one of the guys that did get the hit off of you and all, and we ended up losing to you guys really close. And because then DC got some hits on our other pitchers and stuff because I pitched the beginning. They wouldn't let you pitch the whole thing.
And who won the MVP? Me, right?
That's him and
Umberto.
And Umberto Ramos, who's never played baseball in his life. That was my batter. And I pitch it, and I'm feeling great. And Umberto, and he's like, I'll play, all right, and Humberto hits a grand slam off of me. Destroyed. And then this bastard gets up there and starts pitching, shut us out, mockery for the whole weekend because it was Thursday. Remember, the game was Thursday afternoon. So Thursday night, Friday all day at the show, Friday night, Saturday all day at the show, Saturday night, which was the worst, Sunday all day at the Sunday night, everyone sleeps over, and then at the airport the next day. And then they walk around their fucking Stan Lee Cup, and there's Paul Jenkins, the liar. Sergio, I don't believe me. Oh, I never pitched before, and this guy's a ringer. They brought 2 ringers in.
Did Paul get the MVP?
Paul got the MVP.
I promise I had never pitched before, and I've never pitched since.
MVP stands for most valuable pitcher.
Oh,
here's the thing. I get the ball
and he's doing backspins on it and all. And I'm like, wait a minute, how is it?
So what it was the first time I threw it, you guys got hit, and I'm like, well, so the next time I spun it like that, and whoever was batting swung over the top of it. They couldn't hit the ball, and so I just kept spinning it, and you guys kept striking out. I've got to give you a bit of admission. Number one, how did I win the heart of my wife? I met her playing softball.
See, he does play softball.
Hold on, I don't. Someone asked me. Softball has been really good to me.
Yeah.
Someone asked me to go play softball, and I was like, I don't know how to play softball. And so I went downtown to Atlanta, and someone had asked her to play. I tried the glove, and I couldn't make it work because I know how to catch a ball in cricket. So I took the glove off, and I played the whole game without a glove. And I met my wife. years before at Tundra, the first time I ever played softball, they asked me to come out, and I played in left field. And the first inning I played, I had an unassisted triple play.
Oh, see, this is why people hate him. Just not fair.
I know. And the umpire said, I've been an umpire for 25 years. I've never seen that. And I said, oh, it's my first game.
And and you like to think that it's all downhill from there, but no, it wasn't.
No.
Then he met this amazing woman, this beautiful woman, and then he struck out the entire DC softball team and embarrassed us.
I'm sorry, man, but I had to do it because...
Don't play anymore. Well, if you do, I want to be on your team.
That's right. We'll play again because I'll be the pitcher next time. That's right.
That's my story, how he ruined Comic-Con in 2007.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. And there was never another Stanley Cup, so only you and I are the only ones on the MVP for the Stanley Cup.
That's right. There were two of them, and you and I are the MVPs of the Stanley Cup. That's
yeah.
great.
And there's a great picture of Stan with it and everything. So that's my story.
There you go.
That's it.
Very cool. Very
What are the odds of us having two of the MVPs on the show right now?
The only two.
The only
two.
That's 100%.
Dr. Blevins has got a PhD in I guess.
You got a PhD in MVPs now. What's up?
Yeah. Hey, all right. So I don't know. What do you say, Nile? I mean,
yeah, we'll wrap it. It's been 2.5 hours. Sergio, thank you so much.
I'm in a bad mood now. No, I love
Thank you so much, Neil, Billy, Carrie, Paul, Blevins.
Sergio, please, when would you come back on when the Action Bible, the extended version debuts? Would you come on and we could talk about it and we could
man.
We'll have the show all dedicated to it. When's the date of that?
September 1st.
Fantastic.
Oh, it's like in about a month.
Yeah.
Sergio, I just want to say this. I don't know. It looks like you're working on the scene right now with the waters parted and everything.
Yeah.
There was this movie called it was an animated anime movie called The Prince of Egypt, right?
Yes.
And there the soundtrack of that is incredible.
So good.
But that scene right there, the scene with the parting, like there was an Egyptian girl. Her name is Ofra Hazen, and she had a horrible childhood. Ended up getting AIDS and everything, and like her only dream was to become this amazing singer. And her first work was in that DreamWorks movie Prince of Egypt, and the song is called "Deliver Us." And if you want to listen to that song while you do that, I mean, it is the perfect soundtrack. Like that song is the perfect soundtrack for that scene. Like I said,
I love everything about that movie. Love it.
Guys, I got ahead because if you want to see something funny, my allergies have kicked in and I am sneezing up a storm now. So I'm going to go take some allergy medicine.
I need to make dinner and
Paul, as always, it's an honor, man.
This is great, guys. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Thank you, everyone.
Sergio, love you guys all.
You're all always welcome on whenever.
Yeah.
Bless you, Carrie Ann. Nice meeting you.
What? Check out Fairy Quest.
Yes.
Everyone, book 3, which is live on Kickstarter right now. Everybody wait for the Action Bible coming September 1st.
You can pre-order it now on Amazon. Link will be in description.
Boom.
All right, everyone. Have yourselves a great night, and we'll see you all on Saturday.
Bless you, man.
I get terrible allergies, and here it comes. So,
good night, everybody.
He's allergic. Goodbye.
Later.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on PopXP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the PopXP and over on Instagram at the PopXP. Thanks again everyone, and we'll see you soon.